What up? What up? What up? What it do? We are back in the building for another one. It is the Friday night smoke session. Loyal to the
Yes.
game, boxing and sports. Co-host extraordinaire Draco Bay.
Spread love. It's the Brooklyn way.
You already know. And we're gonna name tonight's session Friday night smoke session. Cause
Yes.
we're gonna be dropping the link in the chat in a little bit, and whoever wants to smoke could get some smoke. What's good
Yes,
with you,
sir.
Steve? What's good with you, Steve? It is the Friday night smoke session. We will be dropping the link in the chat in a little bit. After me and Judge Mathis get past our differences, after
Yes.
after your honor, I get past my differences with your honor today. Um, but we will definitely dropping that link in the chat, and we will be getting it going and getting it cooking, man. But
Yes.
salute to everyone in the chat. Make sure you guys participate in the chat. Salute to you, Omega Red. It's always great to have you in the building. Right.
Yes.
Make sure you
Omega.
guys like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please share. If you could do me that solid, Steve, please share the live stream to some more boxing groups. But we gonna touch on some things today because, you know, I've waited years. I've waited years for this moment. I can't just let this opportunity go by just with one day or 2 days. Uh, you know, we got a real live Aflac champion in the welterweight division. We have a real
Yeah.
live Aflac champion, man.
Who might that be?
Captain Cap, Captain Aflac.
Captain Cap, Captain Affleck.
Oh my gosh, the man Will Murphy said, "What up, Kwame? And your honor, yes, sir, the honorable Drico Bay Baptist Crawford, part-time Crawford."
Hey,
Okay.
Will Murphy was on me too, man, today. I seen you, Will Murphy. I
Uh-huh.
got you.
Just for you guys to know, like, I don't even know who that is. We have someone who said, "Hater." There's got to be two people. I'm going to look at Facebook, but I ain't look yet. It's either Lewis SG or Trayvon. Let's see. I have a feeling it's Lewis though. Let's see. Let's see how right I am about this.
Right.
Let's see. Let's see.
Is it directed
Oh,
towards
it's
me?
Bibbs. It's Bibbs.
Oh.
It's Bibbs. Don't be mad. Don't be mad at me, Bibbs. I only got one thing to say to you today with your champion. Here we go, right? That, that did you hear that, Bibbs? This is your champion right here. Okay, you got the Aflac champion, brother. Now listen, guys. We gonna get it cooking. We gonna call this keep the same energy part two. Drico had a couple things to ask in the last episode. I don't know. The man was beating the horse to death, but we going salute to you, Queen Cassandra. This
Hey,
is
salute.
giving give who what heat, man. You should know better than
Oh
that. You
yeah,
got
Martin Machine. You know I'm
Martin
cocked and loaded.
Martin Machine. Look at your picture, man. You got a real fighter over there. That fighter you got there in your picture right there don't look like he ducking no smoke, man. Y'all over here talking about give me that heat. Come on, bro. Y'all,
Mar,
he
I,
representing the Aflac champion, man.
Mar, he's a dead body, Mar. I am circling the prey right now
Okay,
as we speak.
let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it motherfucking popping. Let's get it popping, man. But salute to everyone in the chat. So,
Yes,
you know,
salute.
your honor. Look, he gonna see you see Bibbs here. He gonna keep beating the dead horse. But come on, go ahead and ask me the question. Let's just get this out the way. Let's just get this out the way so we can address your wilder hate and why you capping for Captain Affleck. But
we
let's
want to know why. We want to ask you, what has DSG done at 147?
you
That's
know what.
first.
Okay, so what DSG has done at 147 is actually
Yeah.
get in the ring with top ranked welterweights, and except for Errol Spence coming off a layoff, he had split decisions with Keith Thurman, and he had a split decision with Showtime Sean Porter. So when because the reason you asking me this is because you want to kind of discredit because this is what Bibbs do. He wants to talk about recycled PBC fighters and recycled champions and everything like that. But the amazing thing about these so-called recycled fighters and champions that they're either mandatories for world titles or they have won a world title at the division and has been ranked in the top 5 of the division and is universally recognized as a top 5 welterweight. While we have
Ah.
the Aflac champion fighting guys that having draws, having draws with people like Ray Robinson. I mean, it's interesting. Was trying to give Spence a couple weeks ago. Here you go with the keep the same energy. As soon as Ugas got the belt, Spence said, "You got something I want." He wasn't like that with TC. His energy changed towards Ugas. But I remember a narrative. Now I ain't gonna say it was your narrative, Drika, but I remember a narrative a little while back by these same so-called Bud fans. But they're not really Bud fans. They're just Spence haters disguised as Bud fans. You know what I'm saying? But I remember this narrative about, Spencer's ducking Ugas. It was his mandatory. Why he didn't fight him? He fought Ocampo. I remember that. Now the man says, "You got something I want, and I'm gonna fight you, so I can go get this strap." Okay. And then after we go get this strap, we're gonna see who's holding up this other fight. Okay. And then what do you know? Now they have a problem with Dennis Ugas. But if it doesn't serve my memory correctly, I remember Dennis Ugas stopping Ray Robinson, and I remember Mean Machine, aka Green Beans, fighting Ray Robinson to a draw. So if you can make an excuse for why Bud fought Green Beans and Mean Machine, well, we have to honor Spence fighting Ugas for a third world title. So I mean, I'm just saying, when you say keep the same energy, the energy has always been the same. Salute to you, Phil 508 in the chat. Oh, I know who this is. This got to be Musa Selassie with the punch. He called it the PBC punchback champions.
You got on him today,
yeah,
didn't you?
yeah. I got it. I got him. I got him yesterday. See,
Salute Musa.
Salute to Musa. This good brother yesterday put that Jeff Horn would have stopped Danny Garcia. I had to dunk you today that one because
I seen that.
He said, I mean, what's your thought process on that, Drico?
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
Not at all. Because, Danny Garcia arguably has the best chin in boxing. If not one of. Oh, you said it's not him? Okay. Arguably, well, whoever it is, if that's you, Bibbs, you need to go outside. Just go back into the post and click on the StreamYard link so we can actually get a picture of your profile, brother. I can't be sitting around guessing who Facebook user is when all you got to do is click on a link for 2 seconds and I'll know who you are. All right. So, you talked about Jeff Horn. We could go into the Jeff Horn tangent for a little longer, but Jeff Horn's irrelevant. He's got his ass kicked now by Kasazu's son. He's a battered man. He's a wounded man. He was straight food. We all know what happened with him and Manny Pacquiao, and then how he was delivered directly to Terrence Crawford for this long 3-year standoff of pure cap.
Delivered.
Yeah, he was signed, sealed, and delivered. Sealed, and delivered. While Captain Aflac could have came in the WBC rankings. I mean, because since Top Rank did have the WBO and they have control over what Bob organizes belt, they could have kept this guy Horn or had him fight some other top ranked loser and just kept that belt. And if this guy is screaming he wanted all the champions, they could have tossed him into the IBF rankings. They could have tossed him into the WBC rankings. They could have tossed him into the WBA rankings. But let's just be honest, y'all. It would have been a dumb move to take a champion who just got out of a fight with Julius Ndongo to make history. None other than, I mean, because he's the slickest boxer, that we know. Julius Ndongo, that guy, the guy who needed a green card just to get over here. And don't take this to be a joke. I believe after Julius Ndongo fought Bud, I believe he actually did get a green card and moved to Nebraska. Real rap, you gotta research it. So there's just a lot of shady, stuff going on. Hey, you wanna, you want a green card? Come over here and fight Bud. This is instead of having to marry some chick you don't know, you could just fight Bud. We could get you a green card. That's how it works. You know what I'm saying? How it works. That's exactly how it worked, man. Because he could have went to the IBF rankings if they wouldn't have spent so bad and they was calling him out, right? He could have went to the WBC rankings, coming to 147. He didn't have no title. He didn't see, because when you undisputed, right, you have every belt, right?
Yeah.
So don't you have a choice to go wherever, to whatever sanctioning body or organization rankings you want to go to, since you done made history?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So all I'm saying to you, my good brother, is
I'm gonna let you shoot it.
You got
until you run out of bullets.
We got. Man, you don't even need no bullets for this. This is a fire that you could put out with a squirt gun. Okay, this guy could have went anywhere he wanted to go. He went to the What Bob Organizes belt. He got that, and just remind me. Tell me if I'm wrong in this case. Wasn't it his guy Bob Arum, who came into the welterweight division with Terrence Crawford and said he didn't want to fight with nobody but Spence because all those other guys weren't elite? Danny Garcia wasn't elite. Yeah, he sure did. He said Danny wasn't. He said Danny wasn't elite. Okay. He said Porter wasn't elite. He said Thurman wasn't elite. That was an excuse to duck everybody. That's called a built-in duck excuse. Aflac. Okay. That's called a built-in duck excuse. And because you and Al Heyman ain't talking and y'all ain't even dealing with each other right now, it's easy to be saying we want to fight Spence, knowing that fight ain't gonna happen no time soon. So now we got the so-called easy route set up by manipulation to the fans. We manipulate the fans. None of these guys is tough fights. None of these guys only.
So when Bud take the easy route, it's considered manipulation. But when Spence verbally just comes out and say, "I'm taking the easy route" or "easy road," quote unquote, then that's he mean good, right? So it's same word, different interpretations pertaining or whoever says it, pertaining to whoever says it, right?
Well, actually, we have to see. We can't look at words all the time. We have to look at actions, right? Because your chick could say "I love you," but she could be banging the next nigga, right?
Speaking of actions, what did Spence tell? I just sent you some items so you can put up on the board as my PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, here we go.
Speaking of actions,
here we go. Let's see what you put up here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, boxing news. Yeah, but you sent it to my phone, man. I'm gonna have to do some work to get it on my computer. It's cool, but go ahead. We got a couple things here. Errol Spence calls Jeff Horn food, eager to face him in next fight. Fight hype, July 2nd, 2017. Okay, so I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
When Jeff Horn got his belt, right? Did he fight Terrence Crawford next, or did he fight someone else next?
He fought in between fighter.
So my point exactly. What other champion is not gonna say, "Hey, this guy looked like food. Let me go grab that belt from him." So it's
not more to it.
Okay, well, go ahead, shoot your shot. What else is there to it?
Okay, and that was on. Let's say that was August 6th, right?
Huh?
Okay, that was August 6th, right? The same day that Horn beat Pacquiao. That same day, Spence tweeted August 6th, 220. He that's food. And what did he say? Oh, he called Earl Spence called Jeff Horn food and eager to face him in next fight. Now that's what I sent you.
Mm-hmm. Now hold on one second. Let me address the chat real quick.
Oh, go
Graylin
ahead.
Jones. You put up here that I'm a hater. I'm just gonna let you know I don't have no problem posting your stuff, but you're gonna have to at least click the StreamYard link so we could put a face and a profile to the name. I'm not putting up any Facebook user comments. It takes 2 seconds to go click on that link, come out of the live stream real quick, click on the StreamYard link, register your account, come back in. You can call me all the haters you want. All right, go ahead, Drico.
Okay. So that was the same day, which was August 6th, 2020. Spence right after Horn beat Pacquiao, Spence tweets that Jeff Horn was fooled, that he was eager to face him the next fight.
He
Right?
said, listen. Now, do you
I
have?
sent you that.
I have it, and see,
Okay.
this is what you guys do. See, you guys be manipulating stuff. Now, it says that, but there's no quote that says Spence says he's eager to fight him the next day. Spence only
It
said
says
that.
it in
No,
quotations.
it
It
says no.
says, I want the fight, a winner of the next fight, which was Horn versus Pacquiao. See it?
Let me open your little raggedy link you got here
That
because
was in
you
July
sent me
2.
pictures. You over here sending me pictures. Okay, I want the winner of the next fight. Wrote undisputed IBF welterweight champion. All right, so who's the next fight? The Jeff Horn and some other bum, right? But we already know that wasn't going to happen, right? We already know
That's
that's not
correct.
going to happen. So
That's
I'm just a little lost. Why we so on keeping the same energy with Jeff Horn? Who is Jeff Horn? Like, why is Jeff Horn even relevant in a conversation when we're talking
Well,
about?
because the reason that Jeff Horn is relevant is because Spence had the energy when it came to Jeff Horn. See, it wasn't even a WBO belt then. Spence had that energy, which he said he wanted the winner of Horn and whoever that next fight was going to be. So he was aiming for the WBO strap. Now, soon as TC wins that WBO strap, which Spence told him to go get, and Spence told him to go get that strap. Well, I got it all right here, baby. Spence told him to go get that strap on hold on, I think I sent you that link too, didn't I? Son, like,
Man, you done sent me so many.
Spence told
You
him
sent
to
me
go.
pictures. I need you to send me links.
Spence told him to go get that strap November 17th, 2018. Right?
Okay.
So that's when they met up. So now TC gets the belt from Horn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that same energy that Spence had towards Horn with the WBO belt,
He didn't have it towards TC.
he didn't have it towards
Okay.
TC, but that's the
Okay.
same belt though. It's strap season. Remember, you got
Okay.
that same energy. Makes no difference. Go ahead.
I have a question for you. So before this whole Jeff Horn situation happened, right? Wasn't let's make something clear. Keith Thurman's a way better fighter than Jeff Horn. Sean Porter, I would classify as a better fighter than Jeff Horn. Danny Garcia, based on what he did at 140, is a better fighter to me than Jeff Horn as well. So
I agree.
We had Spence calling out all of these guys that is like on quote unquote on his side of the street that are either were or are world champions and top caliber fighters. And he was calling them all out because let's not forget, Sean Porter was talking about he's not on my radar, and Danny Garcia was saying some other shit. And Keith Thurman, every 5 seconds he had a new injury. So why are we acting like it was like it's just Errol Spence just calling out Jeff Horn when Keith Thurman, who came back and said he had a hand injury, said he'd fight Jeff Horn with one arm? This is the big leagues. This is the deep waters. This was food. This is a free belt sitting out there.
Hasn't Spence fought everybody that he called out except for Thurman? And the reason being, Okay, so TC, he called out TC. We see that on. He told TC to get a strap, and they can get it on November 17th, 2018.
Okay, so is T? How long did it take? I'm gonna let's rewind real quick. So all these
Modern
guys you said,
Machine.
all these guys you said that he fought, right?
Right,
Uh, Thurman, well, not except for Thurman, Danny
right.
Garcia and Porter were his last two fights. These are guys that he called out way before Crawford even moved up in the weight class. It take time for these fights
Well,
to. It take time for these fights to happen, right or
well,
wrong.
that's right. Test. Jesse, we see you, Langhorn. Salute. That's correct. Now, how long did it take him to call out Ugas when
Salute.
Ugas was awarded that belt?
It took him the same amount of time it took him to call out Keith Thurman and everyone else he called out. Well, I'm just trying to figure out what's the difference.
Because the same day that Ugas won that belt, Spence tweeted an hour later that Ugas
Now
got
you have
something I
something I
want and I'm
want.
coming to get it. Yes, right.
And what
An
has
hour
always
later.
okay, so what has always been the plan? See, because we got to start with the simple narratives here, right? What has always been the plan from the beginning,
To
right?
get the
The
straps.
plan from the beginning was to get the straps, on his side of the street first, which is something he said, and then he was
He
going to
didn't say
fight.
that.
He said, "Let me get." He said, "Let me clean up my side of the street." He said this way before Ugas got a
Well, he
belt.
said, I'm going to take the easy road, which is
Listen, before
interpreted
before
by,
he said that, let's not pervert. Let's not pervert what he said. Like let's have a real conversation. All right.
okay,
When we could go with the easy road and all this stuff based on the facts. One person's not taking the easy road and one person is taking the easy road. Let's just go based off the fact, because sometimes Spence be saying shit. He from Texas. He got that slur. It be sounding lazy. Sometimes I don't even understand what the fuck he be saying half the time. The guy said he started boxing that night against Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. The guy said he started boxing in 2015. Sometimes I don't
yeah,
understand what he's saying. That was 3 years prior. You know what I'm saying?
well,
So I'm just trying, and we ain't gonna go into all of that, but we know where you're
right.
gonna go with that. But my point,
No. I'm gonna stay away from that. But
right,
I was gonna
right,
say we all
exactly.
know,
But
yeah,
my point is, we have to go by actions, Drico. I can say, yo, Drico, I'm your man. If you need something, I got you, right? And then you fucked up and you call me, and I know you fucked up, and I'm sending you straight to voicemail all the time, right?
right,
So
right.
what a person says, you don't judge a person of what they say, you judge a person of what they have done. That's what I go off of.
So when Spence told TC to get that belt, and he was going to holler at him after he get that belt, TC's actions, he went and got that belt.
He
That
didn't.
makes his word
He only
valid,
had it.
right?
He only had it. What else was he gonna do? What else
Okay,
was he gonna do?
but we can't distort it. We're going with facts now, right? We're
Uh-huh.
going with facts. So he told TC to get that belt, and he will holler at him, right?
Mhm. Yeah, he did.
Okay. So TC went and got that belt, right?
Uh-huh.
So TC's actions are 100. Spence, he said that in November 17th, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Spence told him that. They still haven't fought yet. But however, when Ugas got that belt, the next hour, within that hour, Spence was tweeting, "You got something that I want. I'm coming to
Listen,
get it."
all right, I got a question for
When
you.
Horn won that belt, Spence immediately, soon as the fight was announced, the winner was announced between Pacquiao and Jeff Horn, Spence tweeted, "I will fight. I would love to fight
Who
Horn
else?
for that the
Who
EA
else?
title."
Who else said it too? Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia,
But
Porter.
we're not talking about that. We talking about
Everyone
Spencer's
said it.
energy.
Listen,
We talking about Spencer's energy.
everyone said it, because if we want to go to energy, we gotta live in the present day, and we got someone energy who fucking straight up flip flop into all the shit they talk about. But we gonna get there.
Right.
But let's just rewind just for a second, right? So
Yeah.
he says he tells the man.
Jalen Nicole. Let me get Jalen Nicole. It's not about Bob. It ain't about Al. It ain't
It is.
about none of that. It's about Spencer's energy towards that WBO belt,
Listen.
pre Horn and post Horn. He did not have that energy after Terrence Crawford won that WBO title,
Now,
and he ain't had it for 3 years.
can I ask you?
Okay,
Can I ask you a question? Who was the first person that came out and said that the Spence Crawford fight they were gonna let it marinate and it wasn't gonna happen? Floyd did.
oh
Floyd came out
yeah,
and said that, right? And
yeah.
Spence
Well,
said, "I don't know. Floyd don't sign my checks and all that stuff." There's as a fighter, as a true competitor, a fighter is gonna say they want to fight whoever. A fighter gonna say they're gonna fight whoever.
but
When you
that's not
start
the
making
same energy.
listen, let me finish, Rico. But
Okay.
when you start to make money, right, and you are now a
Uh huh.
boxing business and you have financiers behind you and they have a game plan for you, you follow the game plan they have for you. Because if that stuff isn't important, why is Spence in the position with the leverage he has now and Bud's in the position with the leverage he has at this point?
Well, that's just bad business, which is not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here, and let's flip the narrative back around to the subject. And what we have here was Spencer's energy, the same with Horn as it is with TC after those
Trico,
belts exchange.
Trico, they're two different fights. One fight's a pay-per-view fight, one of the biggest fights in the entire sport, and one fight is a fight that never even happened. So I'm not even sure why we're still talking about a bum like Jeff Horn. Like
No, because what we're doing is
if
I'm
you
showing the difference in the energy. I'm showing the difference between the energy that Spence had towards Horn when he said, "I'll fight you the next day," and
listen,
the energy that he has TC that he didn't say that to. Matter of
okay.
fact, he never called TC food, but Spencer's been marked for food,
Well,
of course.
TC is not food, and Bud Crawford ain't never said Spence was
But
food. Because
has Spence been
let me say
marked for food?
by who? Who's he been marked by food
Has Spence ever been a target?
by who? By
Danny
who?
Spencer. I mean Danny Garcia.
How can he been marked for food? Did you just
I
see the
think
fucking
Spence
fight?
was a I think that Spence was a target because they knew that he was his out of the ring antics. That's for one. I think when he didn't knock out
Mikey
Mikey
Garcia.
Garcia, I think that he was marked as okay, I think I can get him. And that's what Danny
That's
Garcia was
that's not
planning
called
on.
that's not called food.
Because that's when they
That's called
all
let me get the biggest possible payday I could get now because now I don't feel like I'm gonna get knocked out the way I felt 3 years ago when Spence was on his grind and knocking
I
everyone
don't
out.
think so. I don't think so. I think that they saw a weak spot in Spencer's game, which they all was claiming, and I
Right?
think they wanted to hop on that, and they marked him for that. That's how I feel.
Right.
There,
Again,
so yeah,
did either one of those guys win the fight?
nope.
Okay,
But
so
my point is,
then he wasn't food then.
no. But that's my point. He was marked for food. Now, was he? Did he win the fight? Yeah, he won the fight. But has TC ever been marked as food? Has Spence ever,
I mean,
ever?
if we're gonna just go off hypotheticals, I could say TC has been marked for food
No.
because Jaron Ennis already said that he would fight TC and he got a weak chin and he would knock him out and he see holes in his game. So I mean, we could go down the semantics of did this person mark him
But
for food or did that?
once we start throwing other people into the pot, yeah, we can get that. But we talking directly about Spence and TC. That the energy that Spence has towards TC is different from
Listen,
all of the other boxers.
I see the energy.
It's
Listen, let me say this. I live in the present. We can sit around and talk about Jeff Horn. That shit don't matter. Them niggas ain't fight. No one fought. Who gives a shit? Them niggas ain't fight. And you and I sitting over here arguing about fucking Jeff Horn is a waste of time because Jeff Horn is a bum. You know he's a bum. I know he's a bum. He's not even
he's a bum.
relevant. Jeff Horn, he's not even relevant anymore in the sport.
He's a bum. My
Yeah.
thing is, why didn't Spence keep that same energy that he had?
Well,
I'm just using that. I'm just using
let me
Horn
ask
as
you.
an analogy.
Let me ask you. Let me
I'm
ask
not
you.
saying that Horn
Let me
is
ask you.
a Hall of Famer.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question,
Right,
Drico. Right?
right.
You see IOTBA in the street and you see TC in the street. You gonna have the same energy jumping in TC face as IOTBA? Because I mean, this is the difference. You talk about energy. You gonna have different energy.
I'm
You
a
gonna have
different kind
different,
of guy, though.
right? I mean,
You know what I
so
mean?
you gonna have the same
I put
energy
both
like
of them together,
so
and
you're gonna be
I
like
put both
you're
of
gonna
them
be like
together and lock up.
okay. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You know,
My point is that this guy Jeff Horn, he was food to everyone. everyone was wanted a piece of Jeff Horn.
I
So
agree.
for me to sit here and waste my time on Spence being like this over him and not being like, I mean, you're talking about a top pound for pound fighter towards someone that you could beat in your sleep. So your energy is going to be different for that. But that has nothing to do
So
with.
you admit, so you saying that I'm correct when I say that Spence
Listen,
energy is different when it comes to TC than it
yes,
was when it
yes,
came. Okay, then. Now let's move to the next subject.
his energy was different. Everyone's
Okay.
energy was different.
Oh,
for that.
okay. Now let's
Now,
move to the next subject. What we got going here?
So
All right.
now, because you see, I got Deontay Wilder here.
Okay.
And
Uh-huh.
you know, I don't know. I feel like, dare I say, the Judge Mathis here is a little biased. He's not sticking to the law when it comes. He's not sticking to the law. You know, he's not sticking to the law when it comes to Deontay Wilder, and he doesn't keep Deontay Wilder and Terrence Crawford. You don't keep the same energy when it comes to these two guys. See, I'm going to expose that tonight. I'm going to expose that tonight because you done said
Yes.
Deontay Wilder ain't got no heart. Deontay Wilder want to get his lick back. Deontay Wilder this and Deontay Wilder that. Well, let me just give you a real quick walk down memory lane about Deontay Wilder. So some similarities here with Deontay Wilder and Terrence Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
Deontay Wilder was knocking out everybody. Terrence Crawford was knocking out everybody. Everyone said
knocking out everybody.
Listen. Deontay Wilder, everyone was saying he wasn't fighting top competition. That's why he was getting knockouts. They say the same stuff about Terrence Crawford. Okay? Now, when Deontay Wilder saw a fighter, another world champion, who he could have got an undisputed match with to become undisputed, when Anthony Joshua told him 60-40, he said, cool. Anthony Joshua changed it around. He never said, I need 50-50. He ain't never said that. But you say Wilder don't have no heart, though, right? He ain't never say 50-50. When Anthony Joshua changed his mind and said, I need $50 million, he went and spoke with Al, and they got him $50 million, and he turned that shit down.
That's correct.
Okay? So I'm just trying to understand how you can sit up here and say Deontay Wilder don't have no heart, right? But when it's time for Terrence Crawford to do the same thing, when he sees another fighter who has more belts than him, right, that he's screaming that he wants to fight, that he's sitting around crying about splits and money, knowing.
You can't compare those two, though.
Why can't we compare the two? We can compare the two situations. Both of them got one belt. Both of them are claiming that they want to fight a guy who has more than has the other belts in the division, right? And one guy who sells a whole lot more than the other guy, which is Deontay Wilder, who we know is proven, who actually sells, right? When this guy says, when the guy from across the pond who has all the belts says, let's do 60-40, he said, okay. Right?
That's fact. Yeah, that's
he said okay, right? And Wilder hadn't did a pay-per-view yet, because his first pay-per-view was with Fury. And he ain't did a pay-per-view yet, right? 60-40, he said it was okay. Then they went and changed the money to, we need 50 million. He went to go find the money, and they went over there and did the 50 million. Then they tried to give him a flat fee. But now we got a guy over here, the WBO unified welterweight champion. And when I say unified, I mean unified with Affleck, the Affleck belt, right? He don't have no other belt.
Away his accolades. You can't take away his accolades. He's unified.
Listen, let's just keep it 100, right? Let's just keep it 100, right?
Right.
Yeah, he's undisputed. Yeah, he unified. Who the fuck is Julius Indongo? Who the fuck is Julius Indongo, bro? Let's just stop with this. I mean, I ain't taking away that he won the belt, bro, but bro, the nerve of this guy to come to 147 pounds and say that he's not, for him and his manager and him to co-sign this shit and say, we're not going to fight none of the other champions except Spence, and all you did was unify against Julius. All you did was become undisputed against someone like Julius Indongo. So he don't need to work. He can't do that. And that's why his shit ain't selling. Because every time Because
You
every
you
time,
throwing everything in the pot. You throwing
okay,
everything in the pot. I think that he can come to 147 and demand who we want to box because of his accolades at 140.
no,
Because
he
he
can't.
came up to 147 decorated, and that's why he got that Jeff Horn fight because he was
Listen,
decorated. I know
listen.
about the plan that Bob Arum
Listen,
had or
that's
whatever, but
bullshit. Could Danny Garcia for a better Danny Garcia was a belt short of being undisputed, right? Danny Garcia for Zab Judah, he fought Amir Khan, he fought Lucas Matisse. He was in fights where people actually thought he was gonna lose.
right,
He was an
I agree.
actual 50-50. Actually, Danny Garcia was actually in fights where he was the actual underdog at 140 pounds and pulled it out and
He was
earned
the
his.
underdog versus Khan, wasn't
Yeah, he was an underdog versus Matisse and Khan, right?
he? Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Salute to you, Nitty G. Oh yeah, you damn right. Hating on Bud makes my motherfucking teeth white. All right. So so
Nitty G.
so my thing is this. Danny Garcia comes up to 147. He doesn't just get to say I don't want to fight anybody except whoever. I'm gonna skip everyone else. I'm just gonna fight the champion. See, this is the fucking brainwash. See, this is what happens when you have an old liar like Bob Arum who comes in and knows how to manipulate people. He comes in and says that everyone is not elite. No
That's
one's
his
elite
job.
except Spence. Right. But it's not true. It's not our job to be stupid though. See,
Right,
anyone can say anything, but it's not our
right,
job to be stupid. You know,
right,
I'm a free thinker. I think for myself. So
right.
you're gonna tell me some guy who beat Victor Postol, Hank Lundy, and Julius Ndongo can come to 147 where you got motherfuckers like Keith Thurman
No,
who beat Danny Garcia and Sean Porter in a row. Okay. You got guys like Sean Porter who put his O on the line and beat Devin Alexander for a belt and lost his belt to Kell Brook. So you telling me that Crawford, because he beat Julius fucking Ndongo, Hank Lundy, and Victor Postdoc will come to 147 and say no one is elite except Earl Spence, knowing that
yes,
you
he
ain't
can
gonna
do
get
that.
that fight. No, he can't,
He
bro.
can do that because
How?
he's the undisputed, undefeated world champion at 140. So that's what you left out. You left out those two
I didn't leave that
accolades
out.
right there. That's very important. And because of those two accolades, got him that fight over Danny Garcia.
So listen, I'm
And
not
with a
listen,
little pull from Bob Aaron, you know what
listen.
I mean?
I'm not saying that he can't get a fight. What I'm saying is
Right.
that he can't dictate who is and who isn't elite and say that these guys aren't elite. So I'm not going to fight these guys. I'm only going to choose this one guy out of the entire division. And you know what? That is the exact reason why he's fucking stressed out now and hasn't fought a damn soul.
That's
Because
true.
instead of them putting him in there with someone who he could actually get the big fight experience, where he can't just be like super be the super athlete over them
That's true.
and actually have a tough fight, and we can see what he's really made of. We want to go put him in there with fucking tomato cans. You know, we want to go put
Well,
him in there with a guy who shot in the kneecap. We want to send offers. We want to send an offer for $3 million to Danny Garcia, and then send a $7 million offer to the guy that Danny Garcia has already knocked out, and Canelo Alvarez knocked out, and put that on pay-per-view. I mean,
you can say all that.
these are the facts. And then
However, you
you
can't
going
take away from he's still undefeated and undisputed.
and let me say, and you also can't take away from that he's undefeated, undisputed, and has pound for pound. He has three other pound. He has a pound for pound ranking of him being number one by a lot of fans. But then he also has two other top pound for pound titles. He has the top pound for pound worst resume of any Hall of Famer who's been named pound for pound in the history of the sport. That's a fact. Okay. And then he also has pound for pound the lowest fucking pay-per-view numbers in the history of probably a fucking pay-per-view in boxing for a pound for pound guy. Let me see. I love the
But we know that we just said that yesterday about those resumes. That doesn't always reflect a boxer's true identity, because like I used the Sugar Ray Robinson analogy, he lost 19 times. So if we're gonna go by that boxing record, we have to. I mean, come on, Sugar Ray
Man,
Robinson would be the best.
Sugar Ray Robinson won over 100 fights and had a single digit loss column, and it was under 5. So we can't even make that same
He lost
analogy.
19
And,
times.
guess what? When we bring up Sugar Ray Robinson, don't disrespect. Don't say these two guys' names in the same sentence. When we bring up Sugar Ray Robinson, we can automatically, if you're a half a boxing fan, name someone noticeable that he fought, like Jake LaMotta. I mean, it's like
That's the only one that he fought. He fought 100. He had 200 fights. 198 of them was tomato cans.
Listen,
Sugar Ray Robinson.
They weren't no tomato cans, bro. And listen,
name 3 fighters he fought.
We're gonna listen. I wasn't alive at that time. All right, I just know that when 20 years from
there
now,
you go.
I know 20 years from now, when Terrence Bud Crawford's name is brought up, if he so-called retires today and goes to the Hall of Fame like he likes to brag about, who the fuck you gonna bring up as an opponent that he fought? Who?
Well, I mean, if he goes to the Hall of Fame, he just goes to the Hall of Fame. Like, then that's not the big question.
Good for him, man. If that's his goal to get to the Hall of Fame, or throw guys in the Hall of Fame.
Some shit just a fact that you can't even question. It's just a fact. Like, listen,
we gonna talk about this because I posted this for a reason, right? Because we talked about his other 2 pound for pound titles he got. There's a missing Crawford versus Postol. There's a missing digit in his pay-per-view numbers. Do we understand that? A man who does this, listen, he has a missing digit in his number. This looks like this shit looks like it's a typo.
And it's been 3 years, and Spence still ain't fought that man with that missing digit after he told him to get that belt November 17th, 2018.
Listen. We already went through this. We can go through the narrative over and over again.
That's a fact.
Listen, when Bud Crawford, after the Benavidez fight, right, when he was asked, he said he wanted all the champions. He ain't say Errol Spence, right? That's what he said. Bob Arum was saying they wanted Errol Spence before that fight. Because they've been promoting it. You guys want to run with this narrative. The man already said in first take he wanted Keith Thurman. Again, he said he wanted Keith Thurman, even when Keith Thurman was fucking injured. He kept saying he wanted Keith Thurman. This coming out of his mouth, not my mouth. Like, I can only go by what this man say, right? Now, listen. I
thought it was strap season.
Listen. It is strap season because we got 2 straps, and this motherfucker ain't fought for another strap since he got in the division, and he fought a cupcake for a strap.
Don't TC got a strap?
What Bob organized?
Keep the same energy that you got with them other champions. Keep that with TC too. You know why? Spence know it's a 50-50 fight with TC, and he know that he could possibly lose. And I'm a Spence fan, but TC know that's a 50-50 fight. On any given night, he can lose.
Salute to Auntie Tanya. This is EJ Auntie, as you can see, is also EJ Mama in this picture. We don't got no fake relatives saying we cousins and aunts and shit. We got authentic bloodline people in here. Salute to Auntie Tanya. And let me say this. Go ahead.
Miss Hunter.
So let me say this, right? What's interesting, right, is that Auntie Tanya says this right here. EJ don't need Crawford, which is true. He really doesn't.
That's true.
But the funny thing is, have you ever heard EJ say that?
Say what?
I don't need Crawford. Have you ever heard him say that? No. Now, let me ask you. Let me ask you another question.
But I see that energy change when it comes to Crawford.
Let me see. We this whole energy stuff, man. Let me tell you something.
You just admitted to his energy change.
Listen, I wanted to get off that damn topic because we ain't gonna get nowhere. I'm trying to get ahead.
The record reflect.
You won. Yeah, you won. All right, great. We talk about relevant stuff here.
Okay.
We want to talk about energy, right? Why this man get the nerve to go on the zone and say that for 50-50, he don't know, and the fight is behind him. And when they ask him why, he said because he don't want it to be where he's waiting for them to tell him when he could fight.
Yeah, that's what. See, now that's where when we talked earlier, I said, just when I got a good case for TC something pop up and he does something and it just destroys my case. And I had a good case building for you, Terrence Crawford, until you turned down the 50-50 with Earl Spence Jr.
Yep. And you know why he did that?
Blew my shit just wide the fuck open.
This is why he did that. That's why he did it. Because he's a fucking duck. That's why he did it.
You
Because
learning them sound effects.
yes, sir. That's why he did it. Because you know
Yes.
what? You know what? It's easy. It's always easy to say you want to do something where you know that shit ain't close to happening. See, because in
Right.
the boxing world, he know the fight wasn't close to happening. The same
Right.
way he know the fight with Manny Pacquiao wasn't close to happening. Right?
Right.
So much to the point, and see, this is where I'm going to checkmate y'all on this shit. So much to the point that he hired an attorney to file a grievance with Top Rank, and his own attorney said that they believed that the Manny Pacquiao fight offer in the past was fake, and Bob Arum threw him under the bus for grabbing that attorney and filing that grievance. But guess what? He's sitting around telling Sean Porter to hold up for a fight with Manny Pacquiao that he still ain't get since 2015. But he's saying he don't want to, he won't do 50-50 with Errol because he don't want to wait, but he been waiting 6 years, and he's willing not only to wait for it, but he's also willing to take an 80-20 split on the fight. Bob Arum came out and said they were supposed to have $50 million, right? Pacquiao's supposed to get 40. Terrence is supposed to get 10. That's an 80-20 split. So you're going to sit around for an 80-20 split on a fight that you will make less money than fighting Errol Spence with, right? And sit around and wait for it and not have a problem with it. That's called ducking, bro. That's called barking behind the fence. That's called the Chihuahua barking behind the fence. And when you open the gate, it runs the other way.
He in there naked. But all I'm gonna say is I think TC was trolling. I think he was frustrated, and I think he had a little troll in him when he said, I ain't gonna fight one. Because I'm gonna be 100 with you. I think TC probably needs that Spence fight. And I don't think necessarily Spence need Bud at this moment. You know what I mean?
Listen, let me tell you something. EJ wants Bud because he's a man of his word. He said he wants to be undisputed, and no matter how many temper tantrums this guy has thrown, he has still kept the same energy, like you said, about becoming undisputed. Because he hasn't done it in the order that you guys want him to do, right? Because, boxing is so much testosterone. It's like, oh, this dude said he want to fight you, so you got to go fight him right now. But let me tell you something. That's the difference between EJ. And that's the difference between Terrence Crawford. See, because Terrence Crawford done went and made some wild business decisions, right? And his shit is not set up correctly. And EJ has went and listened to the same guy who's made the biggest fights in history in the sport, in Al Heyman. Is EJ supposed to say, okay, because this guy who's missing a digit in his pay-per-view number says he wants to fight me, I'm gonna do what he say, or I'm gonna do what you said, the guy who made $300 million in one night for Floyd Mayweather? What's he supposed to do?
Well, I don't think that Spence will be losing anything if he fight. I think Spence at the point of his career now, the apex, where even if he fight Terrence Crawford right now, he wouldn't be losing anything. If he did go, it wouldn't be a reach down. It would definitely be an eye to eye, reach straight across. So when you got those two, which I think is the same level, competitively, physically, mentally, I mean, they're ready right now.
I can't say
that's what I think.
I can't say they're the same level. And we got to stop this shit. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, when we're talking about the same level, you might be talking about pay-per-view. I'm talking skill wise.
Nah, I'm talking the same shit, bro. Because you know what? We gonna keep it 100.
So you saying TC not on the same level with Spence as far as skill wise?
Nope. I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna say that. Because
we ain't seen why. I'm all ears.
For a couple reasons. Number one, we haven't seen him in there with
comfortable.
Okay, not a problem, Drico, because we haven't seen him in there with anyone who's good yet. We haven't seen. Listen, We haven't seen Terrence Crawford in there with anyone that could actually push him. And every time we ask for TC to have a fight where someone will push him, for some reason there's a fucking money issue to make the fight. And I'm not making this shit up. This is just what it is.
But
with
we
Danny
talking skill, right? We talking skill. We ain't talking money, right? Let's not talk about asses and seats.
We talking eye test.
Skill.
We talking actual skill to eye test, and this is, and I'm going to make my case. I'm going to make my case.
He's undefeated
facts.
if we go by what the boxing record. It's undefeated.
I'm going to make my case with facts here now, Rico.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's just start from the beginning. Let's go from behind this. Okay. When Terrence Crawford came into boxing, ain't no big promoters picked him up. Bob Arum rescued him because Tim Bradley said something about it. When Errol Spence,
you be slick. You be using those little words.
But that's what he did. I mean, there was a whole. They put their business. They put their business out on the internet for people to see it.
That's true. That's true.
There was a promoter who was suing Al Hain. I mean, who was suing Bob Arum because Bob Arum was supposed to be paying this guy 8% of TC's earnings for life as long as he had a belt. And it was a $500,000 lawsuit over that. So these are facts. I'm not making shit up.
That's fine.
When EJ came into the sport of boxing, he came in as an Olympian. Terrence Crawford didn't make the Olympics.
That's true.
Okay,
that's true.
So we're talking about one guy who's a blue chip and one guy who worked his way up. Number one. All right. Mm-hmm. Number two. Regardless of what people want to say, okay. Mm-hmm. Errol Spence went over to the UK and beat the biggest welterweight. And we want to talk about, because I know the excuses about Triple G, this shit's gonna come up, right? But
what about Burns?
But here's a who the fuck is Burns, bro? Stop.
Didn't TC do the same thing,
bro? For Ricky Burns.
He went across the pond and fought Ricky Burns for a championship, right?
I'm pretty sure Auntie Tanya will go across the pond and fuck up Ricky Burns for a championship right now.
We got to go by facts.
I'm just saying, but here's the thing: was Ricky Burns? Because I'm gonna bring all this up for you right now. Was Ricky Burns? Was he like an undefeated champion or undefeated at that weight class, or was Ricky Burns someone who had lost and then won a championship? I mean,
Ricky Burns was a champion. He was a champion.
Okay, and Jeff Horn was
if he had 19 losses, he was a champion. So we just said we can't let a record reflect on the record. Doesn't really clearly reflect on what a boxer's skills really are, right?
But we're talking about skill. We're talking about skill level. We're talking about skill level. And when I can't give someone,
and you saying that Spencer's skills is better than Buzz, right?
That's what I believe because Spencer's skills have been tested against better competition. All right. Because last I checked, when I looked at Terrence Crawford last fight, right, his motherfucking eye was getting ready to shut against a battered Kell Brook, and he couldn't stop a jab. Because last I checked, when Spence was getting hit with Kell Brook's jab, he made adjustments, and we didn't see none of that type of damage on his face at the end of the fight. We ain't see none of that. All right. This nigga was getting his ears boxed off for the first 3 rounds. And the only reason he had a win in that fight is because he switched southpaw and hit the same eye Spence busted up. The nigga almost flew out the ring.
I agree with all that.
Okay, then.
But I disagree with Spence having more skills than TC.
Let's just say, if you want to say that Terrence Crawford, you believe Terrence Crawford is a better offensive fighter than Errol Spence, I may give you that, because he's able to switch and he fights in different stances. But when I say skills, I say I'm talking about all around.
I'm talking all around.
Well, why this motherfucker got dropped against Mean Machine? Why his eye is about to shut in 3 rounds against Kell Brook? If his all around skills are so great.
I think that footwork goes to TC.
I don't.
Footwork don't go to TC?
Hell no.
Spence can cut off the ring better than TC, but footwork, as far as pivoting, moving, dodging, lateral movement, that's TC, bro. Come on now.
I'm gonna tell you what the issue is.
We gotta keep it 100.
I am keeping it 100. I'm gonna tell you what the issue is with a lot of you guys when you guys look at Errol Spence's skill set. Errol Spence is like watching fucking Tim Duncan. It don't look like he got the shit don't look flashy, but the fundamentals are so sound. and so technical. Why do you think everyone getting their ass beat? Look, Shaq looks so much better than Tim Duncan. He's sitting around dunking and shit like that. And then the motherfucker met up with the big fundamental, got swept a couple times in the playoffs. It may not look as flashy, but when you sit down and break down the actual film, and then when you sit down and you take a look at because my issue with TC also is that defense is suspect, bro.
We know
It's
that.
well, listen, and even if you want to say Spence don't have the best defense, he got a way
Okay,
better
there we go.
beard. He
I'm
got a
gonna say
way better
their
beard.
defense cancels each other because Spence get his
don't.
head
They
knocked
don't.
off too.
They don't cancel each other because we don't see Bud proposing the Mean Machine in the ring. We haven't seen that
Well,
from Spence.
that's the chin. But we talking about defensive wise,
We
man.
haven't.
Porter was hitting Spence. He was blasting Spence, bro.
Listen.
I mean, he was blasting Spence. That is that a fact?
It is a fact, you know, and as I can't make no excuse for EJ in that fight.
He just got a better chin.
All I could say with EJ is that you got to tighten up outside the ring, and he realized that because to me the Sean Porter fight was the worst I ever seen him. His time, everything was off. You can't. He was having fat camps. He had 2 straight fat camps, and he admitted. And that is the slight edge that I would give Terrence Crawford is that
Spence's timing been off. Spence's timing was off when he fought Mikey. Mikey just couldn't capitalize on it.
How could his timing be off when he landed over threw 1,000 punches and landed so many damn punches?
Because he was fighting Mikey.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean,
Miss Tanya Hunter can beat up Mikey.
No, she can't. No, she can't.
He's too big. Spence was too big. Spence was too pound. Actually, Spence should have knocked Mikey across the ring. That's what Spence should have did.
Yeah, but he admit that he was playing video games when it was time to do strength and conditioning. You know, so again, so if we want to talk about maybe life outside the ring, I may give that edge to Terrence Crawford. I would have to give the edge to Terrence Crawford because we've never seen him with a gut. We've never seen him even close to miss a weight or anything like that.
Right. So you already said that footwork and lateral movement you give to Spence. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, I think they have different types of footwork. But I would give them the same. I would rate
what
them
about
the same
speed?
Footwork.
What about speed? You give that to Spence too.
I get that. I know. I'm gonna give that to Crawford. I give Crawford the speed advantage. Absolutely.
So Crawford gives the speed, right?
Uh-huh.
So yeah. Spence has better footwork.
Mm-hmm.
Spence has better lateral movement.
No, I didn't say that. I said I'll give them even footwork, and I'll give Spence better defense.
Even I'll say the defense cancels each other because
they don't cancel each other out because
I think Spence has a better chin.
I've seen Terrence Crawford wobbled by Gamboa, and I've seen Terrence
Crawford the
chin. That's part of your defense, bro.
That's part of your defense. Spence get hit just as much as TC, except for TC get rocked.
So
we can't say
this is boxing. Everyone gets hit. So part of your defense includes your chin. If you have no chin, that means that you have bad defense. Look at Amir Khan. Would you say Amir Khan has great defense?
No, but what I'm saying is both of them get hit. So both of them defense are bad. It's just that Spence has a better chin. Which doesn't have nothing to do with
either one of their defenses are bad. First of all, if you check the stats before the Porter fight, Errol Spence was the welterweight that got hit the least in the entire division. After the Porter fight, then it went to Crawford. So that's not accurate. That's not accurate at all. So
I'm saying what we see, the eye test. From what we see, Spence and TC gets blasted, but TC is more effective than Spence is, right? You get what I'm saying? Both of their defenses are subject.
I don't know.
Spence just has the better chin.
No, they're not. Terrence Crawford's defense is his offense. He proved that to you against Kell Brook. He couldn't fucking stop a jab.
That's true. I agree with you.
How are you pound for pound and you can't stop a jab? The way he was able to stop a jab was by switching southpaw. So his defense is his offense. That's his defense.
But
his defense is suspect.
Is TC pound for pound?
Absolutely.
So we can't say how. We can't question how because he's pound for pound.
Listen, He's pound for pound because of the eye test. Now, if we said pound for pound based on his level of opposition, we'd have to say no. I mean, if we
Why
want to
ain't
talk,
Spence? Ain't
if we
Spence boxing? Ain't Spence boxing in the same division as Crawford?
yeah, and isn't Spence
As
boxing?
Spence?
And isn't doesn't Spence have more belts and hasn't Spence fought former
Right.
world champions?
So why isn't Spence been named pound for pound?
Because Terrence Crawford was pro longer than him, and he's fought in different weight divisions, and he's
That
accomplished, and
wait, wait, wait.
he's
TC
accomplished.
was named. Spence was named 2 years ago and last year, and still in the pound for pound rankings. Wasn't Spence fighting last year and the year before and
Oh,
this year?
absolutely, and he's in the he's always ranked in the top 5 pound for pound.
But
I
how
mean,
come he hasn't been
this guy
ranked
has.
over? He's never been ranked over TC in pound
You
for
know
pound,
why he's
right?
not ranked over TC and pound for pound?
No, I
Because
want you to
of
tell me.
because of fools like you who watch this guy, for
Ah!
fools like you who give him the nod for knocking out guys who suck. You know,
So we
listen.
going
If
off
you
the
look, listen.
board.
No. Let's just put this in perspective. This guy has
Right.
accomplished unifying at 135 against nobody. He's accomplished unifying and becoming undisputed at 140 against nobody, right? And then he's coming to 147 and has knocked everyone out, but he's not fighting anybody. So if you have all these belts, right, and you make history by becoming undisputed by saying, you beat the belt holders, we can't be mad at who had the belt. But the guy who had a belt was a Regis Prograis, stopped him in 2 rounds. This guy, I mean, let me tell you something. If Julius Ndongo was so good, right? Terrence Crawford knocked him out with a body shot. It's not like he beat him up and ruined him. And so when he came back, he was washed up the next fight. He was hit with a body shot and he was knocked out. Regis
There's
Prograis
skills to
came in.
this shit.
Yeah, same thing with Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis lost to Josh Taylor, right? Okay.
Because there's
Regis,
levels to this shit.
and Regis Prograis knocked out Julius Ndongo faster than Terrence Crawford did. So that just goes to show you what you're saying. There's skills to it, and the motherfuckers he fighting don't have no skill. So if you have a whole
If we
bunch
use
of guys,
that though, we have to say that TC knocked out Kell Brook faster than Spence did. So we can't use that.
yeah, we can't use it. I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
Listen,
Well, TC
listen.
knocked out Kell Brook faster than Spence did then.
Did Julius Ndongo have 2 eye surgeries? Did
Oh,
Julius?
see, there
No.
you go.
No. And here's the
You smart.
no.
You smart.
Yeah, but not that smart, right? But here's the thing, right? Did Julius Ndongo have 2 eye surgeries? No. Did Julius Ndongo fight at 147 pounds for 3.5 to almost 4 years and then drop back down to 140 to fight Terrence Crawford? No. So let's just get stuff in perspective, because we all know that in the sport of boxing, it's harder to drop weight than to gain weight. We all know that.
That's true.
Kell Brook complained that he couldn't fight at 147 anymore. He complained about it. When he met Errol Spence again in the United States and said, let's fight again, he said, let's do it at 154 and let's do it in Sheffield. I can't make 147. You're going to tell me 2.5 years later, it's cool for him to make 147 and fight this dude with 2 eye surgeries?
Hey.
Okay then, bro. It's not the same. It's not the same thing.
You trying to tell me that Terrence Crawford was supposed to let Kell Brook whoop his ass because it was 2 years later and he had 2 eye surgeries?
No, what I'm saying, I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is this. Don't have your manager / trainer get on the Boxing Voice and say, Keith Thurman, we don't want Keith Thurman, and then say Kell Brook is a washed up fighter and he's a damaged fighter because you guys believe that you get ready to fight Manny Pacquiao, and then when that shit fall through, you fight Kell Brook, and now all of a sudden he's a fucking world beater. Okay? Because when your own coach is running around saying that someone's washed up and is a damaged and broken fighter, we got to take him at his word.
I agree.
That's what your own coach said. Your coach said this.
Yeah, I agree.
Y'all thought y'all was fighting Manny Pacquiao. We only want to fight guys who have belts.
That's a fact.
We only want to fight this guy over here, and we want to fight Manny Pacquiao, and we only want to fight Spence. Well, we know you ain't fighting Spence. Oh,
that's
you thought you was gonna be fighting. You thought you was gonna be fighting Manny Pacquiao. 6 years later, right? Again,
those are facts.
you still thinking you fighting somebody that your same promoter came out and told you a couple years ago when y'all could have fought him. I killed the fight,
That's a
right?
fact. Now
Okay,
you
then.
see how I agree with you
Yeah,
without any type of
yeah.
okay. Now,
So
is it also a fact that TC knocked out Carol Brook
yeah, that's a
faster
fact.
than okay, now we
That's a
can move
fact.
on.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
I thank you. I
Yeah,
thank you.
that's a
Now we
fact.
can move on.
Okay, then. So
All right.
as I was saying, Terrence Crawford comes out this week and he makes the
Uh-huh.
comment about Canelo Alvarez not fighting black fighters, right?
Yes.
But what black fighters he fought?
See that once again. Oh, wait, damn.
What black
Was
fighters he
that
fought?
Dongo? Was that Dongo
Andago's
his name?
Andago's no. Well, we could say
No,
Kel
no.
Brook. Kel Brook. If we want to say Kel Brook, maybe. I mean,
Well, he's biracial,
yeah. I'm
but
just saying. But y'all get my point though. Like, what good black fighters has he fought? Because Kel Brook at that stage in the game wasn't a good black fighter.
no.
Hank Lundy.
Damn. I'm limited.
Okay.
Yeah, Hank
Okay.
Lundy.
Okay. So how are you going to come out?
Damn, it has been a minute. Hank Lundy?
It's been a minute. You mean it's been a fucking career? Fuck you mean a minute? It's been
Damn.
a career. Hank Lundy. No disrespect. Shout out to Philly. I love Philly. I'm from Philly. You know, but you sitting up fighting guys who are genetically and athletically inferior to you. You ain't getting in the ring with guys who are super athletes like a damn Sean Porter. You know, you're not getting in the ring with super athletes like a Errol Spence. And when you're getting in the ring with someone who could punch, you always having a fucking issue with it. You know, so we can't sit up here and act like this guy has done a whole bunch of this and a whole bunch of that. We can't. We just can't.
But we also can't take away from his accolades either.
No,
We can't give
we
him
can't. He's
nothing. Well, we can't take
accomplished.
away. Yeah,
He's made his accomplishments. I can't hate on
yeah,
what he's accomplished. But
yeah.
what I will say is that you open yourself up to scrutiny when your camp is the camp who came out with the negative energy first, calling Spencer drunk, calling him a duck. See, when now
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
see
But that didn't come from Crawford though. So we have to give him that
Crawford.
credit.
Let me say something. Crawford came
Yeah.
on TMZ and told another grown man to pull his panties up in front of the world. TMZ is a world platform, right? That's
Yeah.
what he did,
Yeah.
right? And he got on
Right.
Twitter and everything because he ain't had no opponents. But you know what's fun? You know what's funny?
Yeah.
If he really don't want to fight Errol Spence no more, watch how much people talk about him from here on out. If he don't
He
do it,
trolling, man. He trolling. He trolling. Both of them guys are competitive and their street nature will not let them back down. So that's considered a back down in the street. And being from their backgrounds, Spence being raised in DeSoto, being from New York, his
salute to
pedigree.
Mika. Yeah,
Salute to Mika, being from New York and his pedigree and down in that third ward, Texas, DeSoto. I don't think and then TC getting shot and beating up everybody in the hood and come. I don't think that them two gonna back down from anything. I think when
right.
TC said he don't want that, he trolling.
I
You
don't
know what
think
I mean?
I don't think he's trolling. I really don't. I feel like Terrence Crawford does not like the fact that he doesn't have the upper hand when it comes to another black fighter. I don't think he's trolling. Because if you can sit down, because I got to look at the facts. If you can sit down and not have a problem taking 20% from Manny Pacquiao, or you can sit back and not have a problem with Amir Khan getting $7 million, if you can sit down and be cool with all of that stuff, but you got a problem with a guy who has more belts than you in a division, a guy who has more
Right,
pay-per-view sales than you in
right,
his career, and it's not even remotely close, then
right.
it's past trolling. It's the fact that he said it when he said, I'm not moving when they say move, or I'm not fighting when they say fight, but you do it when Bob tell you to do it. So what's the difference? You got a black guy, Al Heyman, and a black fighter in Errol Spence doing to you what Bob Arum has been doing to you your whole career.
I think he will. I think they too, both of them too competitive not to fight each other. You know what I mean? I think when it's the same way as when Spence said 80-20, 70-30. I think that's the same. Spence was trolling, but then soon as uh TC says it, then it becomes real and everybody take it as a literal contest.
But we
Context.
can't. You can't
So
compare it. You can't compare the two, Drico. When Spence said it, he was on his girlfriend's Instagram live, and someone said something to him about being 60-40, and he was talking back to the person on the Instagram live. This guy went on a fighting network and said the fight's behind him.
that's
And
because
then
most
they and
people,
then they interviewed him again separately, and then he explained why he said it. He
most
explained why he said we got to take the man at his word.
yeah, well, then we got to take Spencer at his word when he said that get a strap and then I'm gonna fight you in 2018, and he still ain't fought him
Yeah,
yet.
but he didn't say
I
I'm a
think
fight.
both
He
of
didn't.
them.
Say, but he didn't. Say, let's not manipulate. He didn't say I'm gonna fight you in 2000. When you get a strap, I'm gonna fight you next. He said get a strap and the fight will happen. Then let's just be let's be honest here. Let's be honest. Let's be honest
Ooh.
because Spence said let me clean up my side of the street first. His people have a plan for him. The same. I don't understand. I don't understand how it's cool for Terrence Crawford to fight Jeff Horn because Bob Arum had a plan for him to make him a world champion at 147. It's cool for Bob Arum to have a plan for Terrence Crawford, but it ain't cool for Al Heyman to have a fucking better plan for Errol Spence. We
Well, the
listen
difference is
when you in
Al
first
Heyman
place. Go
didn't
ahead.
have a plan for Spence to fight TC,
Yes, he
and
did.
TC had a plan to fight
Yes he
uh,
did. Yes he did.
Earl.
Yes he did. Yes he did.
When?
And I'm gonna tell you when because when Bob Arum came out and said that ESPN has a blank check to make the fight happen, they have a blank check. Errol and Heyman,
Careful.
Heyman and Arum had a meeting, and he gave him a
Uh huh.
number.
Right.
And Bob is the one who said that the fight needs to build.
That's
So,
true.
so,
That's
so
true.
okay, so if that happens, right?
You
See,
dug
see,
yourself out of that hole,
no,
didn't
no,
you?
no, no, because the truth, it don't take much to stand on the truth. The truth don't, it don't need no
That's
bullshit
true.
to stand on, right?
That's
So
the
you
truth.
tell, so let me ask you a question, right? Because we were talking, so we were
Yes.
talking about Cap, right?
Yes.
Now, one side says I got a blank check, let's make it happen. We talk numbers. Now
Right.
You didn't hear Erm come out of that and say, "Oh, Heyman was just outrageous. We couldn't make nothing happen." He said, "No, the fight will happen. It needs to build. We agree on the number, right?"
Right. Right.
Now, so that's Spence saying, "Okay, let's talk, let's negotiate." Now, when you tell this man 60-40, he don't do the same thing. He don't go and sit down and say, okay, well, you know what? Uh, because and this is how you know this is I'm gonna show you two things about business that's real basic that almost everyone knows in negotiations. In negotiations, both sides start high, right? Both sides
Mm-hmm.
start high. So if Spencer starting at 60-40, I mean, is that so far off to sit down and negotiate with? You can't start at 60-40 and get to the table and figure out maybe 55-45. You telling me that
No, not at all.
you telling me it's such an insult at 60-40 that we can't even talk, right?
Not
But
at
then,
all.
but this is how you know it's all cap, right? Because what do we know about Bob Arum? We know Bob Arum don't want to fight. He don't want to pay fighters. This is a proven fact throughout history. Why people leave. Why Teofimo went to purse bid. Why Sean Porter is still sitting there trying to figure things out. Right.
Right.
These are facts. Right. Why would Bob Arum, who don't like to pay fighters, who likes to take advantage when he has leverage, why would he go to why would he go to Al Heyman and propose and have his first offer be 50-50 when in negotiations you
That's true.
start high?
I agree with that. I
Okay
find
then.
it weird that he can offer Wilder 100 million for the contract. Just Bob Aaron can offer Wilder 100 million for a contract just last year. Then say he ain't got no money in the bank. You know what I mean? So come on, man. Was you capping when you offered Wilder that 100 million, or what was you doing?
Well,
Yeah.
all I could say, Drico, is that there's consistency here, right? And there's inconsistencies, and the only inconsistencies that I see is coming from Team Crawford, because now that you have the same guy you said was ducking you, right? Who says, because people have an issue. You're talking about energy with Ugas, but he says, okay, Ugas, now you have something I want. I'm gonna come get that, and now we're gonna see who's holding up the fight once I get my third strap. Now that we saying that, I'm just saying, ain't those the magic words Terrence Crawford is acting like he always wanted to hear? Errol Spence is saying, I'm gonna go do this, and you next. Let's see what it is.
I think Terrence is playing it. I think he's in tune now. I think he's in the game. I think he's playing the game by when he says, "Oh, I don't want to fight Spence." And I think the reason he say that is because he know ultimately Spencer's got to come around that corner and fight him, and then the ball would be in kind of like in TC's court. Then
this shit is never going to be in his court. When you listen,
if he don't fight, if Spence don't fight TC. Ooh.
I don't understand. I don't understand how. I'm confused on that. You mean if TC doesn't fight Spence, because TC's the one saying he don't want to fight? No. TC is the one saying he don't want to fight.
I agree, him. But I think can't TC say is trolling.
Yeah, but I don't understand how. Listen, people do trolling on the internet. I've turned into a master troll. You do trolling on social media and on the internet. You don't do trolling when you sit on a network's platform and get interviewed.
They troll all the time. That's not TC first time trolling Spence. The first time he trolled Spence was when they asked him the first question, when they said, "It's the boogeyman at 147. Would you want to fight him?" And he said, "Who is that?" So that's a troll right there. No, you don't know who Spence is?
I don't feel like that. That's not trolling. That's just posturing. What is it? To me, that's posturing. That's posturing.
Okay, well, however you put
trolling,
it,
trolling is
would you
more
say
like,
that this is? I think this was a posture. Then I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying that to me, that's posturing. That's saying,
right?
Okay, this person is saying this. That's like when someone says for who was it when Mayweather and Anderson Silva were going back and forth, and someone said Anderson Silva, Mayweather said, "Who is that?" And then they said the same thing to Anderson Silva, and Anderson Silva said, "Oh, who is that?" That's not trolling. That's just posturing. That's just acting like.
You can put it how we want to put it in whatever perspective, but that's basically TC saying, "Fuck him." Who? And then when Spence tell him to call Al, that's Spence saying, "Shit, fuck him. Tell him to call Al."
But that's not saying fuck him, because in order to get business done, you got to call Al. I mean, Spence ain't reading through the contract.
See, that's where we have the difference at. See, now you have to keep it down the middle. You can't give a meaning to everything Spence say. Then when you get to TC's, that's frivolous. TC just be talking.
If someone says, Spence tells
Earl
him,
control
Al,
when Earl say, go ahead.
If Spence tells him to call Al, we've seen Spence in numerous interviews. I remember at the Ocampo fight. And people
we know he got to get permission from Al.
Right. People were saying, Crawford says he see a weakness. He said, call Al. That's what everyone says. Call Al. So I don't think saying call Al is trolling anyone, because in order to get the business done, you got to call Al to get it done.
That's not necessarily trolling, but I'm just saying, I think Bud is in the game now, and I think he kind of understands what's going on as far as the business thing. And now he's saying, Spence got to fight me.
No, he don't. Spence Bud he don't. Bud in his feelings, bro. He in his feelings. He don't feel like that.
But if Spence don't fight Bud, then he's not honoring his word, because his words
How you gonna honor words when the opponent is saying, I don't want to fight you?
But you got to make it sweet. That's why Bud is going to be.
You don't got to listen. You don't got to do shit for a motherfucker.
What did Spence?
Who don't have no leverage.
Say? What did Spence say? Didn't Spence say, "I'm going before I leave, I'm gonna unify. I'm gonna have all the belts before."
So what you're saying is, Bud is gonna sit back and wait until Spence is out of options. So now, because Spence wants that belt so bad from him that he's gonna go ahead and give him money. You want me to tell you something?
I didn't say that. Wait a minute. I didn't say he was going to give him 50-50.
Okay.
I just said that eventually TC knows that Spence has got to come around that corner if he honored his word. Because if Spence don't honor his word and make it sweet and make that fight with TC, then people are gonna say he ducked TC.
No,
That's
you're
why
not. How
TC
can you
said
say he's? How could you say
because
that? I don't
Spence said that
understand. How could you
because of
say
what
he's
Spence
ducking
said.
T? How could someone say that right now when Spence is saying,
No, I said
I,
after this fight, who was TC got to fight at? I mean, who was? Be honest. Now I
"Yeah,
know you're a
no,
little
it's."
biased,
I
and
already
I
said
know you're
that.
gonna put.
I said he
I
has to
know
fight
you're gonna
Crawford
have.
next. Everyone knows he needs to fight Crawford after Ugas. If
That's what we're saying.
so
So
again,
you don't think that he is you don't think that Bud now he's not completely just because he's from Nebraska now he's not completely out of this. You think he's not saying, I know this nigga gotta fight me. I'm just gonna sit back. No, I don't want to fight him.
but he doesn't have to fight him. That's the part you don't get. He doesn't have to fight him. Let me ask you a
Why
question,
not?
right? I'm gonna tell you why he don't have to fight him.
So
I'm gonna ask
Spence
you.
gonna move up to 54 without fighting TC?
Listen, he can all he could do is give him offers that are fair offers, and then all he could do is buzz his old man. He could either say yes or no.
I
So if you say
disagree. I think Spence gotta make it sweet and he's gotta fight
he
TC
don't have to
before
make
he
nothing
moves up to
sweet.
54. Before
Listen,
he move up to 54. I think that he's
listen.
gotta do it. If
He
not,
doesn't.
he's gonna
My
be
question,
he
my question to
huh?
you, Draco, is this: you said who does Spence
Yes.
have to fight next?
Yeah.
Who does Bud have to fight now?
Bud has a lot of options.
What options? Name them, because he don't got shit announced. I mean,
Porter.
because that's announced. This motherfucker's
No,
talking.
but
He
he
sound like
can fight Porter.
this motherfucker
Who
sound
is
like
Spence
Donald.
fight next?
He sound like Donald Trump when it comes to Porter. Stand by and stay. What the fuck is he talking
Who
about?
now? Who is Spence? Who is Spence? Who can Spence fight?
Ugas. That's next.
And who else?
Uh, who knows? He could. If Spence wanted to fight Keith Thurman, he could. He has options. There are people who saying that they would fight Errol
Okay,
Spence.
if Bud wanted to fight Thurman, he could too. Wasn't that an option? One of TC's options too, as
But
well.
but Bud doesn't want to. They
Nope.
don't want to. They don't
Was
want to put. They don't want to put any mileage on Bud, bro. What part of that don't you get?
I get everything you saying, but we're talking options here. We're taking emotions out of it, and Thurman is an option for TC, and so is Porter. Okay, same with Spence. He can either fight Keith Thurman or well he's got Ugas next, and then Keith Thurman. If he leaves out of 150, 147 without fighting Bud, people are not gonna look at him the same.
There you go, Tom Ross. There you go. Yeah, but listen, he don't listen. Spence has more options. Can you tell me? I'm gonna prove it to you this way. Tell me what top fighter in any weight class that's a big money fight that you have heard them or their promoter say we want to fight Terrence Bud Crawford.
I haven't. I think honestly, I think Porter would be over the top. I
I'm talking
think
about a
that'd
big
be
money
a
fight.
hell
I'm
of
talking
a
about a big money
big money.
fight though.
I'm talking big money draw. I think Porter it'll be up there. It's a big money draw, big money grab. If them two and it's promoted right, that's a big fight, bro. That's a big fight.
What's up, Tom Ross?
What's up, fellas? What's up, man?
Salute to you,
What's
good
going on,
brother.
Tom Ross?
Chilling, bro. Chilling, man. Loving the debate. Loving it.
Oh yeah, we get it in, T Ross.
Yeah, loving it. Loving it, man.
Go ahead, Tom Ross. I already know your position on this, man. So go shoot your shot, man. Because you think I'm bad, Drico? I'm gonna sick my pit bull on you right now.
Hey, this guy is the coldest. He's the coldest Bud pacifier that I ever seen. Because he knows that even when he's saying some shit that's true, that's half true. Like when he says, "Oh, well, didn't Bud knock out Ricky Burns?" He know Ricky Burns don't equate to Kell Brook. He know that.
Hold on.
Let
Let
me
me
knock
let
him out.
me
He
let
He
me.
know
He
that.
knocked him out. He knocked him out.
No,
It
he
don't
did
make
not.
a difference.
Oh, you talking about Cal Brook? Oh, I'm saying
Yeah, Kell Brook.
But if I knock out a high schooler and I knock out a grown man, that's two different things.
That's still a knockout.
No, it's not.
And what does it say? What does it say on Bud record? When as to Kell Brook, it don't say, "Oh, he knocked out a washed up fighter." It says KO Bud versus.
I get. You know what? I guess I could agree. That depends on your boxing.
We got to go with facts. We got to
That
go with
depends.
facts.
That
It ain't
would
got nothing to
depend.
do with boxing IQ. None of that. We just gonna go clean cut facts.
But
That was
said, give me the essential workers, I'll beat them.
right. Exactly. So when it comes to Bud, the way I see it, I don't really think Bud ever wanted that smoke with Spence, and I'll tell you why. Bud could have made the fight a long time ago if he took 60-40. He refused to do it. Now, had Bud would have been this guy that was selling out and was just everywhere he went, he was selling like a rock star. I would get why he said, "No, I'm not taking 60-40 with equal." But this would have been Bud's biggest payday. So it makes no sense for him to turn that down unless you don't want the smoke. So you turn down that, but you fight Mean Green. You turn down that fight, but you fight Amir Khan. You turn down that fight, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's like he wants his mandatories unless it's a real welterweight. Danny Garcia was the number one challenger. He did not fight him. They sent Danny Garcia a bogus contract.
They didn't even send it to Al Heyman. They sent it to Angel.
Right. He didn't fight him, but he took Mean Green for less.
No, he paid Khan more. That was going into the Khan fight.
Well, but I know that's a fact also. But I'm looking at also the Mean Green fight. If you're not going to take that fight, that makes you a bigger star. Fighting Danny Garcia actually makes you a bigger star. It's a career move.
Tom Ross, I'm gonna kill you already.
It actually makes you a bigger star. It's a career move if you fight Danny Garcia. You won't take that, but you'll take a Mean Green fight happily. Mind you, it's a mandatory, so it's not like he was really forced to do it. But so was Danny Garcia. That was a mandatory that you found the way to ease your way out of. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think that he really, really wanted to smoke with Spence because he would have took the fight already. There's no other. When he says Spence is behind me, I don't get that. If Spence is behind you, what's in front of you? What's in front of you?
Well, I don't think he meant. You see, you're taking it as a literal term with Spence, and I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. Everything that TC said, everybody's taking it literal, but then when Spence say something, oh, he trolling or he's just talking, and you see, he was on there with his girlfriend. He wasn't serious. So we got to keep the same energy, y'all. We got to keep it the same. I think when he said Spence is that's behind me, he meant the idea of fighting Spencer's behind him, not literally, Spencer's behind him. As far as accolades,
He's his psychotic nigga. You his Dr. Phil now.
Yeah.
This is what
he can't possibly. He can't possibly say Spencer's behind him on that because Spencer's more decorated than him at 147. So
well,
he can't possibly be there.
Question for you then.
Salute Tyrone.
Did he or did he not say Spencer's behind him?
Yeah, he said that.
That's what he said, man. So all I can do is go by what he said, man. He a grown man.
Okay, since we're going by what people say, right?
Right.
Why the fuck did Spence tell him that if he go get a belt, they gonna thump? Why did he tell him that 3 years ago, November 17th, and they ain't thumped yet? But soon as Yugas get a belt, the same day Yugas get it, he said, "You got something I want. I'm coming to get it," and they start negotiating right there. Why is that then? Keep that same energy across the board. See, I told you I was gonna tear your ass up, Tom. Don't you come on here with that bullshit, Tom.
That's a good point.
I know it is.
I'm actually laughing about this comment says Bud fighting for stimulus money.
You have to put this in consideration.
Here we go.
Spence Terrence Crawford is an undisputed fight.
Right.
It's not a regular fight.
Right.
So somebody got to get all the belts before they can have the undisputed fight.
But what I'm saying is, why did it have to be? We're not going by what it is. We're going by what you said. Go by what they say, right? And did Spence or did Spence not on November 18th of 2018 say? Okay, then. So we only can go by. Has Spence fought TC yet?
He did it.
It's 3 years. Okay. Did Spence have that same energy towards Yugas when Yugas was awarded that belt? What did he say the same hour? You got something that belonged to me. I'm coming to get it. Right?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Totally different.
So
ain't that the truth?
You're doing semantics.
Right.
Because
that's a fact. That's a fact.
A lot easier to make an Ugas fight.
That's a fact.
You know it's a lot. This is not just a fact. It's a lot easier to make an Ugas fight than it is to make a Crawford Spence fight, and you know that.
And you,
I agree with all of that.
and Tom Ross,
Okay, then. So that means your point is moot.
I
another,
agree.
and another thing, Tom Ross, which is real interesting, right? Today they just there were reports saying that the fight is going to be in July with Spence and Ugas. Do you notice that just a month ago they were saying Ugas won a 50-50? We don't hear nothing else about that, and they're already starting to announce that a fight is getting ready to happen. That's how easy it is when you're doing business with PBC. Is that easy? There's never a whole bunch of shit leaked into the media.
Why? 3 years. He told this man to get that strap and that stump because he knows, Spence knows, it's a 50-50 fight
You
with
saying the
Porter.
same thing and it's not true
No, it's
because
not.
Y'all bringing up
we just told you this. No, you're not because now you
y'all bringing up the same subject. So of course I'm gonna bring up the same.
No, you just agreed that when we said Arum said there was a blank check and we went. See, you said get a belt, right? And then they said we have a blank check, and then they say, okay, let's check your temperature. Let's make it happen. Here's the number. And then Arum, Bud's side comes out and says it needs to build. So how are you going to keep sitting up here bringing up the fact that it's been 3 years when their side is the side who said it needs to build? How are you going to keep bringing that up? This is cement. We running in a circle. It's not
going to
Arum.
be a circle.
Right, but it's not.
It's going to be a circle. As long as y'all keep on throwing
only
shit up.
It's only a circle when it comes to Buffett.
Right. It's only. Isn't that funny? Isn't it funny?
But look, Tom,
is the only
y'all
person.
Tom, look.
Y'all some janky lawyers. Y'all some lawyers.
Hey, Tom, I'm a Spence fan, but I just call it down the middle. You know what I'm saying?
I highly disagree with that.
Yeah,
I have gotten to fights with TC fans.
Tom Ross is worse than me because Tom Ross accused me of being a Bud fan. So you in the right. He was on my helmet telling me I was a Bud fan. That's why this shit funny. You got the right one.
But loyal, you have bit down on Bud though. You're not the same like you used to be on Bud. You don't play with Bud no more. You used to give him a little leeway, like say, what?
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna tell you why I don't play with him.
You don't bit down on Bud neck. You ain't playing with him no more.
I'm gonna tell you why. Cause his family don't play with me, right? His trainer don't play with me. See, I was trying to be the nice guy and say, don't say this and don't say that, but that's we not there no more. So now guess what? So now guess what? People were waiting to say Spence is gonna try to go to 154. You had Tyrell saying, "Oh, he's just gonna move up to 154. He gonna just duck Bud. You know, everyone gonna just duck Bud."
If
now
Spence
all of a sudden,
to 154, he ducking Bud.
Listen,
that's not true, man.
If the Aflac champion is saying that the number one money fight in his career is behind him, and the same champion is telling him that we're going to see who's holding up the fight when I get the next belt. See, because when you have that same energy that you really want to fight someone, these are the words he should have been waiting. You know what he's supposed to say on Twitter? Once Spence says that shit, he should be like, "Yeah, motherfucker. Well, let's make it happen. Let's get the money right." You don't say that.
I told you.
You don't say this shit is behind me. So guess what?
He's playing chess, bro.
His first name is Daffy. His middle name is Duck.
He's playing chess.
He's sponsored by Aflac. Chris Paul is sponsored by State Farm. Shaq is sponsored by the General. He's sponsored by Aflac. And you know what's great about Aflac? I'm gonna tell you what's great about Aflac. It's exactly what he's gonna need after he fights Bud because it's disability insurance. That's exactly why he's sponsored by Aflac. Because he's gonna need his disability insurance after he fights Spence.
I will accept that from a man that says that Spence has better footwork and lateral movement than TC.
And defense.
I feel like it's about even when listen, this is how I look at this.
Hell no.
This is how I look at this fight. I feel
Spence got better footwork than TC.
I feel Bud puts his combinations together better than Spence. Bud has better combinations. I feel Spence has better punching placement. When Spence hits you, he hits you more precise. He has better punching placement. And he hits you over and over again in the same spot. I agree. I feel Spence goes to the body more. I feel Bud is a little more flashy. I feel Bud is a little more quicker. I feel Spence has I feel Spence has better defense.
He
The reason
does.
why I say Spence has better defense is because they both got touched, but they didn't get touched by the same level of competition. The level
Facts.
of competition means something.
Facts.
Bud got touched by somebody Spence would have flooded. Spence would have knocked being Green out. Bud got his
How
damn
you
near
know? That's hypothetical. We only dealing with facts here.
Okay,
Come on, man.
You
Cause
can
we
go
all,
with that. You
come
can go
on,
with
man.
that.
'Cause
I
we
can agree with
all
that.
know
I can agree
Bob
with that.
Aaron always
It got to
finds.
do with facts, bro. We can't do the triangle shit and say, "Oh well, he fought and so Spence would have." And how you know? I could
But
say easily say
but
Bud
but
would
you
have
know
knocked Lanky out.
but you know what? I got something for you with that, Drico. If that's the case, if we
Yeah,
can't go with triangles, why the fuck
yeah.
are you saying that that Terrence Crawford is as good as Errol Spence? Because if we can't go for triangles, this motherfucker hasn't fought anyone in order
I,
for you to put him on that level.
it's
You
called the eye
can't.
Exactly.
test.
You
It's called the
can't.
eye
The
test.
eye
It's
test
called
against
why
okay.
you the
Okay.
same
The
reason
eye test against
why you say Boots can beat Terrence Crawford and
right.
Earl Spence because of the
Right.
eye test.
Right.
And Boots ain't fought nobody
No,
ranked over
I
100.
never.
Bro,
First of all,
bro, if you say that, he's tripping.
let's first of all,
Would
let's get the record straight. Let's get the
let's
record straight.
straighten it.
I didn't say that. I said that
What'd you say?
Boots could beat Bud Crawford, and I said that I fear Boots more than I fear Terrence Bud Crawford for Errol Spence. I did not say
So
he
you
could
said
beat him.
Boots can
I did
beat
not say
Bud Crawford, right?
yeah, he could beat him. After I see that he couldn't
Okay.
stop no jab from Kell Brook, he'll take Terrence Crawford head off.
Okay then. Now how would you say that? The eye test, right?
Easy, exactly. I'm gonna
Okay.
say it
The
from
eye test,
from
right?
the eye test. Exactly.
So that's the same reason you saying that. It's the same reason I say TC
Exactly. But
is more skillful than Spence. So
but I
what's the
have to
difference?
listen. I have to say that when I'm dealing with Bud fans, you have to say stuff because all y'all do is go off the eye test. Because if y'all went listen, if y'all went by the facts, right? The facts. Listen, I'm gonna pull the facts for you. The facts is this nigga fought nobody.
What that got to do with his skill?
You ain't
Boots ain't fought
nothing. You ain't
Boots ain't
fought
fought
nothing.
nobody.
You don't deserve nothing.
Boots ain't fought nobody, but that doesn't take away from his skills.
Boots ain't a world champion. This nigga got 37 fights. He talk about he could go to the pound for he could go. Listen, he said I could go to the Hall of Fame today.
He can.
If he go to the Hall of Fame today, that's the end of his chapter because ain't no one gonna talk about him after that. They barely talk about him now. The only reason, let me
You
tell
don't
you,
think
let me
Bud's
tell you
going to the
something.
Hall of
The
Fame?
only reason, let me tell you something. Let's keep it 100.
Is Spence going to Hall of Fame yet?
Drico. The only
Yes.
reason, listen to this, Drico.
No, Tom.
The
No.
only reason
You're
the only reason you are talking about Bud right now, Tom Ross is talking about Bud, I'm talking about Bud, is because he's linked to Errol Spence. That's the only reason. If he ain't linked
might
to
be
Errol Spence, ain't a goddamn soul talk about him no more.
That could be true.
No one's talking. So his whole, let me tell you something. His whole career, he should be going to Earl saying, hey, listen, Earl, I'm gonna give you a cut of my check because without you, at this point, there's no me. Because guess what? Until you and I started talking, no one even wanted to buy my shit. No one even wanted to buy my pay-per-view. I was pound for pound and
now here you go. See, now this where y'all be going overboard at.
Listen, do I gotta post it again and niggas missing
Without
the digit
you,
in this
Spence,
pay-per-view?
no one would be buying my pay-per-view. What the hell is you telling me right now?
No one. It's a fact though. Did anyone?
Yo, son, you bugging, son.
Did anyone
No.
buy Post Talk? Did anyone?
Yeah.
No one.
You would be
I
talking
didn't
about.
see you. Hold on.
We
a second.
would be
I didn't see
talking
you,
about
Mika. I got you,
TC.
Mika. I'm gonna put this. I gotta put it. Mika, I'm gonna put it in
Let
your
me interject when y'all get a chance.
messenger.
Go. You can interject now, Tom.
I'm gonna put it in your messenger, Mika.
So Bob Arum gives his hand away. Listen, when Bob knows that you got
God,
skills,
Bob is y'all the scapegoat.
no. All right, but Bob knows you got skills.
Bob's a problem.
But Bob would, but he would throw you. But Bob had Floyd. He threw Floyd in there with everybody. He threw Floyd in there with everybody. He threw Floyd in there with Gennaro Hernandez.
Yep.
On his first title shot, he threw
Facts.
Floyd in there. First fight at lightweight with who? With Castillo. When he know you got hands, he throw you in there with anybody. Like go get him.
Facts.
He ain't put Terrence Crawford in no sight of danger
Facts.
at all.
I would agree with you, but we all know that Bud don't like Terrence, and what's his name? Bob don't like Terrence. So I would debunk that by saying because Bob don't like Terrence, he wants him to lose, so he would throw him in there to the wolves if he could. That's what I think.
Why
See, I
can't he?
think the opposite.
Why
I mean,
can't he? Bob has 100% control over his Bud career. Why can't he? He can do whatever you want
I
with Bud.
don't.
Bud has
I
no
don't
power.
know. I
Bud
don't
got
know
no
about
power.
that.
Do you think Floyd wanted to fight all those guys back to back to back? He had no choice.
When it all comes down to it, though, T, who really has power? The managers, right? When you really sit
It depends on
down,
your
you can't
manager.
use
It
that.
depends
You
on your
can't use
manager.
that. You can't use
when you
that,
really
Draco.
sit down,
It depends
when
I'm
you
on
not
your
really
gonna allow
sit
you to
manager.
use
down,
that. I'm not gonna allow you to use that, Draco.
yes, we can, because you just said about 5 minutes ago what was the classic 2 words that Spence used? Call Al.
All right, but the
That's his
reason I'm not,
advisor.
you're right, but this is why I'm not going to allow you to use that, because you sat here and argued on the panel about the fight not being made for 3 years as if it was between Spence and Bud. Now you're talking about promoters, which is what I've said from the beginning. You got to keep it. You got to keep it
No,
100
see, you
the whole
use
way
it, you
through.
mix it, you changing the narrative. I said that Spencer's energy changed towards the WBO belt when TC
No.
won it,
That's not what I'm talking about.
as when Horn had it.
No. That's a different subject. I'm not talking about that. When you're talking about go get a belt. See, you saying go get a belt, like, okay, well, he's supposed to make the fight, but now you're saying that, well, it's up to Aaron, and that's what I've been saying. The fans have been manipulated. The fans
Right,
have
but
been
what I'm
manipulated.
saying is we can't say on one hand, oh, it's all Bob, it's all Bob, it's all Bob. Well, really, it's all the promoters and the managers. When we all sit down and I said that because he said, well, we all know that Bob controls everything, and my response was, so does
Actually,
Al.
I said something way more profound than that. But I like how you just
Go ahead.
minimized
What's
what I
that?
said.
What's that?
I just paraphrased it, but
I
that's
like
what
how
you said.
I like how you
You
minimized
said,
what I said.
did you not say Bud was controlled by Bob? Did you
For
say
good
that?
reason. Bud is
Okay,
allowed
but that's
to.
what you. I'm
Bud
not.
can't
I'm not holding you to it
that
in
made
court because we ain't in court. So my response to
yeah.
that was, all of them are controlled by their managers, including Al Heyman.
Not necessarily. Just on Al Heyman's point, Al Heyman actually empowers a lot of these guys.
See how y'all be shading it, and see,
But
I have to take a side, and it seemed like I'm really just on Bud's side because it's so shaded when Bud say something, and y'all take that perspective that it be way up here because
because
God and Heyman is up here. God is next to Heyman up here, and then y'all say when TC or Telefeed or Tio Lopez say something, it's way down here. We
No,
can't
it's
do
not.
that. We got to
It's
hold
not.
them
nah,
each.
No,
things are just a lot more. Things are just a lot more complicated than you making it. Bob Arum and Al Heyman run two different ships. They run two different completed organizations. Bob Arum
Do
still.
they? Oh,
Bob
I
Arum.
thought they was both PBC.
No,
Bob
Bob
Arum's at
Arum and
Bob Arum's
Al
top
Heyman
rank.
are two different organizations, bro.
The organization.
Oh, I thought they both was on PBC.
Arum and Heyman.
Yeah, I thought they was.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They hold two different organizations, man. Bob Arum still doing the old guard. Bob Arum don't even believe in paying fighters. He said these fighters get paid way too much money. Whereas Al Heyman's trying to get them the most money he could get them. It's two totally different things. You can't really compare those guys, man. Bob Arum looked at Bud Crawford in his face and said, "I lost so much money on you. I could buy a house, trash.
What's up, Mika?
Hey,
What's
me.
going on?
Hey, what's up?
We just on here cooking.
Eating dinner. But what
What
I
you
want to
eating?
know,
Give me some.
what I want to know is why this dude ain't fought no damn body.
Thank you.
He ain't
Please.
fought no damn body.
He ain't fought nobody.
He ain't fought nobody.
You know
He
who?
waiting on Spence. He waiting on Spence. Spence gonna put in the work. Then he come beat him up.
Tamika, I got hearts in my pupils. So I don't even know what you're saying right now.
You know what she said.
You heard me.
Give me some.
Listen, man.
Give me some.
Listen, man. Bud is a Hall of Famer for what he did up to 140.
Facts.
But he got at 147, he gonna have to shake some trees. Cause right now he looking very bad, man. You can't
I don't
147.
think he. I don't think he looking
Suspect.
bad. I don't. Yeah. Now I give it suspect. His business is suspect. But as
No,
far
man,
as the
that nigga
boxing,
looking bad,
No,
son.
man.
Fuck that. No.
it's as far as boxing wise in that ring, I think he doing his thing because he 5-0 at 147.
Hey,
But business wise,
Tommy, you see what's
big
happening? You see what he doing?
business wise, he doing his thing in the ring because he knocking out everybody they put in front of him, regardless of what they is or what y'all consider he is. He knocking them out like he's supposed to,
This
son.
is how he looking.
Everybody else knocking
That's
him
how he
out
look
too.
right now. He looking bad.
Yeah.
That's how he look. That's exactly. You see that? That's what the fuck he look like right now. See,
So what? So
because we can't. We listen. We got all of these people, all of these boxer groups, all of these people for the last couple years. Even while Spence was sitting home healing up from his car accident, calling him a duck. Now that the fight is in front of us, this nigga is saying it's behind him. He's the, you. We gotta
That's
keep the same
I'm
energy.
telling you,
that's
he
only
control.
because he in his feelings. That's why he's saying it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
behind
what
him.
I'm
Cause
trying to
he in
tell
his
him. He
feelings.
in his feelings. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
don't
in his
mean
feelings.
that.
Yeah,
They
no, he
gonna
don't mean
fight.
it. They gonna fight.
Yeah, I'm trying to
I
They
think
tell
chest,
him. See,
both of their chests too big not to
Right.
that.
fight.
Thank
Right.
you, thank
No, I
you.
Yeah,
believe
They
that.
gonna
yeah,
fight. They
they
gonna
I
gonna
believe
fight.
fight.
that. I believe that. But I need my 15
I
minutes
won't
of
do it.
glory right now because they done held this shit out for years, calling my boy EJ a duck, right? And they
Yeah,
just said they done ran with the narrative. Now we got to keep the same energy because if people are gonna say that EJ going to 154 would have been a duck or this or that, and now this guy's talking about when the fight is in front of us that it's behind him. And then the reason you give it is because I'm not gonna be fighting when they want me to fight, but you're
cause he
doing
in
that
his
for
feelings.
but you're actively it ain't like you're doing something different. You're actively doing the same thing you mad about with Manny Pacquiao right now. Look how
Yeah.
long Sean Porter's
I
been
mean,
sitting there.
I
And
mean,
you're
but
sitting
Manny.
Why
there
has he
talking about
not? Why
right.
has he not fought anybody relevant at 47?
Well,
That's
why
my
ain't Sean
question.
Porter? Why ain't y'all posing that same question to Sean
Wow.
Porter? Why y'all not
Stop
calling
playing
Sean Porter
You
a
bullshit.
duck
barking down the
for
wrong
not?
tree with that. You barking
Why
down the
is
wrong
y'all?
tree with that
Wow.
because
Why is y'all
you
not calling Sean Porter a duck because he's not activating his mandatory because of money?
Why he
okay,
gotta
okay.
activate it?
Why exactly? Why would he?
Why?
Why? Listen. I'm gonna tell you why. And I explained this to you. I explained this to you last show, right?
Yeah,
If if he
the purse
activates it,
bid.
listen,
We
you're
know
right.
all of that.
If he activates his
This dude's
mandatory,
funny.
he gets 25%, which means that in order for this guy to even get 2.5 million dollars, there has to be a $10 million purse. We know Aram is not trying to do that. He said he's lost money, and then secondly, on top of that, he has went into the public and said Terrence Crawford is a bad investment. So who the fuck else is gonna go bid on that purse when your own
Wow.
promoter who says that you are a bad investment is
Wow.
don't
So
want to
the
put the
fight is
money up?
off. So the fight is off, is what you're telling us, right?
No, the fight.
Basically,
Listen. No, no. This is see.
because the money ain't there.
Let's put this in
Bro.
perspective. Let's put it. Hold on 1 second, Tyron. Let's put this into perspective, right? You say that you want 50-50 with Errol Spence, right?
Right.
Canelo Alvarez yesterday, and between today, has sold 40,000 tickets with Billy Joe Saunders in Texas. Texas is wide open. Texas is wide open, right? Right? It's wide open. So
You see all these people in here?
it's wide open. So you don't have the bubble excuse no more. You don't
Nah.
have that excuse no more, right?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
and Porter does have COVID right now, so that is an issue because that just
That's
came
2
up.
weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah,
14
yeah.
days.
But so Texas is open, right?
Yeah.
If you're saying that you want 50-50 from Spence, why can't you make a successful pay-per-view with Porter? Why are you trying to make a free fight with Porter?
See, now that's what I can't.
That's
That's
totally
when.
disrespectful as well. Come on
Very.
Yeah,
now.
I can't get. That's when I rock with the Crawfords, but I can't really put a finger on that right there.
I'm
That's
gonna
it.
tell you why. Cause Porter
Tell
is
me,
fucking
Tamika.
dangerous.
That's
Porter's
what.
fucking dangerous.
And
They know it.
Porter's Porter is? Guaranteed mileage on your frail ass.
He will
Yeah,
beat your ass up.
He's
he gonna
guaranteed
push.
mileage.
He gonna push him. He might not win,
Guaranteed
but he gonna
mileage.
feel like he
And
lost.
with Sean Porter, you saw the shape Sean Porter came in for Spence. He gonna do the same thing.
He gonna be
Because
even
he
better.
knows what he knows.
Yes.
He know what's at stake.
He want that
Porter know
belt.
what's at stake. He know.
I
He
agree.
know.
I agree with you, Tamika. He's gonna come in better than he
Yes.
fought against Spence.
He keeps getting better. If you notice.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's a
Yes.
fact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. He learned a lot from that Spence fight, I think. I give him that.
Not only did he learn a lot from the Spence fight, what I'll say about Sean Porter is that he picked up a lot from working with Barry Hunter, which is the difference with Danny Garcia. Angel ain't never wanted to let someone else come in and show him some new shit. When Kenny, let me tell you something. I gotta give Kenny his props because after Kenny saw that Birdo shit with all them headbutts and that nigga busting his eye open, he went and got Barry Hunter and cleaned up Sean Porter's shit. And Sean Porter looked better against Danny Garcia, and he's looked better every other fight since
I
then.
agree. I agree, Quan. I agree.
Even from just from the point of being a boxer,
I agree.
he's looked better.
If he stops smothering his punches, he'll be even
Yes.
better.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. That's going to be one of the best things he could do with Terrence Crawford.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Because
Maul
he
him.
can't have that distance shit because Terrence got them long ass arms. He got to
Yeah.
keep that fight, which he knows how to do, right
Yeah.
in his motherfucking chest.
Yes.
And wear his ass down and put the miles on his ass. And
Yeah.
they are nervous as shit about that. They want to go
That's
beat
correct.
up. They want to go beat up a fucking senator right now, 42 years old.
If
Spence
Right.
want to beat up a senator too.
The thing about Spence though, what you got to say, where the energy's not the same. Once
Yeah.
Pacquiao dropped that belt because he was chasing Pacquiao, he's a man of his word. He focused on Ugas because he wants the belt.
Oh,
You don't see him still.
come on.
Yeah, but you just said that. You said as soon as he got the belt. But that's what you said, Drico. You said as soon as he got the belt.
You
As soon as
smart.
he got the belt.
Nah, that's what
You
he did.
smart.
But that's what he
You
did.
smart.
Right.
You smart.
As soon
You
as he got
smart.
the belt, you heard
You-
Spence. Let me ask you a question. Have you let's see if we get away from that. Have you heard
That's
Spence
a good
talking
move.
about Pacquiao?
Nah.
Oh he's after Ugas because he wants the belt. But we see this guy, even though he's in the Pacquiao's in negotiations with Mikey, he's still waiting for the fucking crumbs. While he got Porter at 147 sitting there waiting. Told this motherfucker, "You're ducking me." He said, "Yeah."
That's true.
And you know what he told him? He
Yeah.
put on his fucking Donald Trump hat and said, "Stand by." And what the fuck are you talking about? Stand by. You supposed to be like, oh, you trying me now?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Tyrone Spencer. I'm sorry to cut y'all off. Tyrone Spencer. You got to do your homework on Arturo Gatti, son. Like you really got to do your homework on him. That's
Arturo,
the
let me tell you
man.
something.
He
Arturo
was a
Gotti,
warrior,
let me
but
tell you
his
something. That's
boxing
bullshit.
was-
Arturo Gotti, if you're gonna say that, then you can't say shit about Danny Garcia because Arturo Gotti
Right.
lost all his step up fights. He
That's
lost
right.
all of them. He lost them
right.
all, and he got in the Hall of
That's
Fame.
right.
Still
That's
not
right.
won.
Kwame, I gotta ask y'all a series of questions. How long
Yeah.
was Errol Spence gone when he got injured? Damn near a year, right?
Like 14
Right.
months.
Like 14 months. What was stopping Terrence Crawford from fighting the rest of the welterweights that would have
That's what I'm saying.
What
That's my
stopped
only
him?
question. Why is he not fighting no
He
damn
knew he
fight?
wasn't going to play Spence in 14 months. So he can't. I know he went waiting on Spence. So what stopped him from fighting Ugas? What stopped him from
Ugas
fighting?
Ugas wasn't the champion back then, was he?
Ugas
know,
called him out. Okay.
It's
Ugas
not
wasn't.
fighting Mean Green.
Okay. You said Ugas wasn't a champion. All right.
Well, wasn't
was
two
David hold on.
mandatories?
Was David Benavidez a champion? Was Amir
Was
Khan
he
a
a man?
champion?
Wasn't he a mandatory?
No.
Mandatory?
Ugas
Two
David
of them were
Benavidez
Mean
Mandos,
Green
weren't
was
they?
the mandatory.
No.
Mean Green
Green Beans was the Mando. That's it.
Okay,
Yeah, Mean Green
okay.
was the mandatory.
It,
So we
it
can wipe
wasn't
them
two.
out. So,
But-
You have to fight the Thurmans and the Danny Garcia.
so you have to do that.
You have to
Hey,
fight
but he
them.
knows that.
You
I
have to
agree.
fight them. So
Hey,
why
I
does
agree.
he not?
Right. He.
That's something
You
I
know-
can't answer for the Crawfords.
That
You
doesn't
know-
even make sense.
It don't. It don't make sense.
No, but I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna tell you why he ain't fighting them.
Well, it makes
Because
sense, but it don't make
If
I'm a,
sense.
I'm a,
if
I'm
if he had fought Danny when Danny was trying to fight him, we wouldn't be talking about 70-30 right now.
Right.
That's true. I can agree with that.
I mean,
Tom. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
and,
baby.
and then on the flip side, what makes it so bad when you bring up the Danny situation is that you turned around and paid the guy that Danny knocked out double the money you offered Danny.
That don't even
Exactly.
make sense.
That don't
Yeah, I don't have.
and,
I have no defense.
and it's not like he was coming off like some big stellar win. Let's go over the facts about Amir Khan. He got smoked by Canelo. He came back and fought the guy that Spence and Porter fought and knocked him out in the first round, which was Phil LaGreco, who was on a super long layoff. And then he went and fought another Spence and Danny Garcia leftover, and Samuel Vargas, who everyone beats from pillar to post. And he got knocked down in that fight, and they fought a tough fight the whole way. And then you went and gave this nigga £5 million to fight Terrence Crawford. So,
But
but this is
Yeah.
what
Jumping in that trash.
this is right. This is what happens and what people like to say about Terrence Crawford. When you say why hasn't he fought these guys, what they want to say is all these guys were ducking him, right? But what always happens is when it's time to fight one of these guys, the offers are always low, and then they say that they ducked him. So, and
Right.
Danny Garcia is a prime example. You shoot him a $3 million offer, right? And then you shoot Amir Khan a $6 to $7 million offer, and this guy been knocked, and you're gonna say something about fan base. Ain't no one bought the fight, and it flopped.
Had he fought
Danny,
Garcia
that
and
would have
fought
sold.
Thurman and fought Thurman, we wouldn't be talking about 60-40. We'd be talking about 50-50.
we talking about 50-50.
Yep.
We'd be talking about 50-50, but he didn't want to fight them.
You know why, Drew,
I'm
though?
gonna tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because
Yeah,
it was low reward, high risk. That's my
Well,
feeling on it. That's
No,
my take on it.
no, that's not why, Mika. You being nice because he wanted to take the easy road.
Right.
That's why. Because he
Wanna
wanted to
know
take
why?
the easy road. We got to
He
go by
was
what a
doing the
person
Spence.
do.
He was doing the Spence.
He wasn't doing
That ain't true. The
Now it's
Spence fought
bumpy
them
as
guys on
bumpy.
pay per
He
view and
wasn't
made
doing
money.
Because check this out. Low key, he knew that he probably could have lost to Keith Thurman. Why?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He thought
Yep.
was gonna beat him.
Yeah.
And Sean Porter during that time. Well, listen, man, we never seen this motherfucker really push at 147. If he takes the fight
Wait.
with Sean Porter, he might lose. That's what y'all not understanding. This ain't no
Tom-
easy watch.
It's a big chance he might lose to
This
Sean
ain't no
Porter.
easy watch,
I
man.
don't give a
This
damn what
Tom.
nobody say.
Tom
he
Ross.
might lose
Tom.
this fight.
Shit.
Stop
It's a
being nice.
50-50
Eli-
chance. It's 50-50.
Tom Ross, stop being nice. You saying we
He
haven't
about to
seen him
get
push
dropped
at
by
147. You just said you being nice. I'm not letting you off the hook, Tom Ross. You saying he ain't been pushed at 147.
Oh,
He
yeah,
ain't
yeah,
been
you're right,
pushed.
you're right. He
He
got
ain't
dropped
been
because
pushed, period. No, he ain't been pushed, period. He ain't been pushed,
Well-
period.
So you can't we can't say that because you haven't seen him get pushed. So we can't say what he can or cannot do as of
Julius,
yet. Just
I
like
got-
I made that
Julius
point.
and Dongo.
Me and Green damn near pushed him down. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying.
And what happened though?
No, he got up and
He
did
did what
his
he's
thing.
supposed to do.
He did
That's
what he was
Mean
supposed to
Green.
do.
That's not Sean Porter.
Right.
Right, that's true too. But so
Yeah.
far, we only can go by what he's done, and so far he's 5-0. He done knocked out everybody that they put in front of him.
I know.
So
Just like
and I think it's a 50-50 fight with Spence.
Mika knocking down that meal sheet because it's fucking food. That's
Right.
what happens
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
put food in front of somebody. They knock it down.
Supposed to eat.
Mika, I'm coming down there, and I want to go to that
on.
restaurant, and I want that spaghetti. What did you have?
That's pasta Mardi Gras. See, it's
You got
good.
Papados?
Yeah,
I knew it.
always.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Mika got. I'm hanging out with Mika. Mika got big guns too.
I keep it.
That's a Texas
Mika,
way.
hey, Mika sent me a
Right.
picture. The gun was taller than her.
Fucking right.
That's a Texas way.
Fucking
Yeah,
right.
yeah. But yeah, I think that Crawford, I mean that what's his name? Porter is a threat to TC, but I do think that it's a 50-50 fight between TC and Bud. I mean TC and Spence. I
I
do
think it's
think that.
I think it's
Okay, you know what? You know what? Hey, Kwame, I want
Ma-
to. I want to agree with you, bro. Explain to me how that's a 50-50 fight.
You explain to me how it ain't.
Hold on.
Well,
Nah.
you
Hold
guys
on.
can go down.
Hold on.
I want you guys to go down
I
that
want
rabbit hole
to
and
ask
just
you a question.
in 1 second. Hold on, hold
Explain to me
on, because y'all ain't gonna
how
forget
that's a
that.
maybe,
50-50 fight.
maybe post accident, it's a 50-50 fight.
Right,
Maybe.
right.
I'm gonna be honest to say that.
Yes. See,
Maybe
I,
What?
I,
I
I
could
was
I
just
couldn't
getting
hear
ready.
you, Mika.
I was getting ready to go to Mika. I
May,
was getting ready to go to Mika about that because Tom Ross and I used to go back and forth about Blu-ray. Now,
yeah,
Mika, you
yeah.
down there and you know,
I
and you've been
know.
around
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
You,
Oh, you
it
said
wasn't.
Blu-ray, Mika?
yeah. Well,
Oh yeah.
po-
There you go.
well, I'm gonna say post accident as well. I think it's possibly a 50-50 fight.
Oh, so we're talking about two different things here. I'm talking about the caveat that's going to make the fight actually happen, which is the business side. Y'all
Yeah,
talking about
No.
skill.
yeah. You
Oh,
talking about
okay,
Y'all talking
okay.
Fuck
about
the
skill?
skill.
business.
Me
Fuck
personally,
the business.
me
I'm talking
personally,
about who gonna whoop who ass
me
tonight
personally,
on
Yeah,
here. We
yeah.
me
ain't fuck
personally,
them.
I believe Errol Spence is stopping Bud Crawford in the 11th
I
round.
think he's
That's what I
stopping.
believe. He gonna stop him.
But
He ain't gonna
I
last.
don't know.
He-
I
That's what I
don't think
believe.
he has what's the words for it? I don't his
He's
last fight.
not built for that.
I don't think he 100% as he was before his accident.
Mm.
Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
fair assessment.
But now, if you was talking as 50-50 as far as actually making the fight happen, it's definitely not a 50-50 fight.
Oh
Bud
no,
Crawford has never sold over
Oh no, that's not
money
a
$180.
that's not
wise,
a but
no.
that's not a 50-50 fight.
Not
No.
at all. So Bud,
No.
so you admit Bud out of pocket for not taking the 60-40.
Uh I I mean that's up to him.
I, eight
If I
hours
were to say no,
Well,
because I can't tell a man what he worth, because you know what Tio just done. You know what I'm
hold on.
saying?
The
So
numbers tell you
I
the
can't tell him what
numbers.
he think. I can't tell you what Bud should take or shouldn't take. But as a fan, I can speak from a fan perspective. I want to see the fight, and I don't know why he wouldn't take the 60-40.
Right, right.
he should.
Okay, okay.
I
That's a
would
good.
if I
It could
you
That's a
possibly
good
think
way of getting out of that.
it could
yeah,
possibly be higher than any payday he's ever had, even though
It
it's
will be high.
60-40.
that's correct.
A lot higher.
Come
That's
on,
correct.
man. Yeah.
That's correct.
Aaron got this man fighting on a flat rate. You know, back in the day before they had Ubers, and you get in the cab, you say, "Hey, how much it take me to go over here for a flat rate?" That's what Bob doing to him, man. He ain't even give him
Tom,
what he worth. He give him
you
$3
know
million.
what?
Hey, go ahead, get at it.
You
You
met the
know
But
right
you
what,
one.
Tom?
You met the right one, Drico.
Spence was a great man. Gonna be on your tombstone along with Kwame.
Watch your mouth when you talking about my homie Spence, man. Watch your mouth when you talking about the kid, man.
but you know what?
I'm
You
trying to
know
tell you, man.
what?
I got Spence in the KO, man. He goes in a
See,
You
TKO stoppage,
you
11
know
See,
what?
rounds.
me and Mika are logical thinkers. It's 50-50 because of those reasons that we both think we're
Oh,
on the same level. You know what I
Well,
mean? It's
you
the
know
car
what?
accident.
I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
I'm proud of both of them because undisputed is gonna come between those two. You
mm-hmm.
Right.
know, and
Black men say it.
two black
Right.
American fighters. I'm talking about. I appreciate that. You know, no
That's
matter
what's up.
whether it's Dallas or Nebraska or whatever, I really appreciate that.
That's what's up. Mika, you looking nice tonight.
See,
God,
to me,
really, Drico. You laying it
see,
on
Yeah.
what he's
thick,
doing
boy.
I'm
is
feeling
he
well.
trying to
You
Thank you,
flatter
sir.
his way into a
you
clean
He
sweep.
trying
you
to
He trying to flatter his way into a
I'm
clean
into
not
some
sweep.
fucking with you,
Barbados.
Drinko.
Mika, I'm
Hold on,
coming
hold on, hold
down
on.
there. I want you to wear that same thing when I come down there.
Get the fuck out of
Just keep
Hey,
here.
it
hey,
on.
hey,
Get the
Just keep
fuck
that
out of
on right
here.
there. Don't even take it off. Just keep.
hey,
Get
hey.
the fuck out of
Tamika,
here.
Tamika she's sweet, man. She's a sweet person.
No,
But at the
I
end
Hey
of the
ain't.
Tom.
day,
You
man,
mean as a motherfucker.
Hey Tom, fall back.
well, you being sweet right now because at
Tom.
the end of the day,
I am.
we
Hey
all
Tom.
Highly
know,
unlikely.
we all know
Tom.
based on the
Don't
past
disrespect me,
performances,
Tom.
we all know
Don't
we all know based on past
That nigga's
performances
crazy.
that Spence is
Tom,
going to
don't you disrespect me.
we all know that.
You
Mika,
so
don't you
silly.
look in his eyes. Stop looking in
I
that
ain't.
man's eyes.
Where is
Okay.
he?
I ain't even on there.
I don't see his picture.
Oh, okay. I'm looking in your eyes though, Mika.
Oh
Oh,
my
okay.
God.
Don't. You so silly.
Yeah, man.
But I
But
respect them both. You know what I'm saying
yeah,
now? And I
yeah.
appreciate both of them because I see what they doing. Even
Yeah.
because you have to admit the political side in regards to the networks, the promoters,
Yep.
all this stuff, it overrides the fighters. It
Absolutely.
overrides the ring. But what they're doing is they're making it relevant so they have to fight. You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I agree.
Regardless of who gets what split, they're both going to have a really big payday.
Yep.
And I'm really proud of both of them because the road to undisputed is going to come between two Black American fighters.
That's right.
I appreciate
And I
that.
agree.
And
Can
a lot of times
can I
it's not like that.
can I ask you a question, Mika?
Yes.
If now, what do you say is skill wise? What would you give Spence? Would you rate his footwork better than Bud's? Would you rate his
Yes.
speed?
And the only
Okay.
reason why, well, speed, I give it to Bud. Footwork, I give it to Spence. And the reason why is because, like, I've been in the gyms and I know in regards to footwork how you can make a fighter move to where you want them to
Your
move.
son's a boxer,
And
right?
Right.
with Spence is, yes, he
Right.
is. So I know that a lot of time what Spence does is he'll make the fighter move to where he wants them to move
Right. He
Yep.
and
walks him
place them in
down.
a certain spot so he can get certain shots off. So
Yep.
in that aspect, I think Spence is better. And then I watch Bud. Sometimes he gets a little sloppy. I'm sorry
Put
to
some
say it,
respect
but
on her
sometimes
name.
he get a little
Put some
sloppy.
respect on her name. She knows she's talking about.
Yeah,
Yep.
he stays in the pocket a little too long.
Yeah, if he get his ass, he get his ass rattled.
Yeah, he stays in the pocket too long. Mika got bad reception, and that's what I think that his problem is. But I think with Spence, he gonna be ready, man. I think that that's a bad habit that TC has because he fights emotional, and he
You
stays
can't
in that
break that.
pocket.
Who this
He's
jackass in the chat with this drinking problem shit?
Right.
right.
Man,
And
get your sorry ass up out of here with that personal shit. We in here talking boxing,
They
bro.
always doing that.
yeah, yeah,
They always doing that.
and
Little they know, most boxers, believe it or not, be having drinking problems. There's a very few that elite that don't do that.
Yeah,
But
keep it
so
boxing, bro.
right, so stop
little
that.
do we know, most boxers on cocaine, so he
Right, a
can
lot of them be coked out. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, so he can go on with that drinking problem.
Oh, man,
Hell, that's the least.
Yeah, I mean, you never heard who's the guy? Benavidez got stripped because of coke. I was like,
that's
you don't hear
what
you talk about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Or Tyson
saying.
Fury. Tyson Fury coked
Or
out his
or
mind.
or Peds, you know what I'm saying? So come
Right,
on, man. What's a little Jack Daniels, bro?
right, stop that.
Uh,
Please.
keep it moving, man.
Stop that.
Shit. But yeah, I think that Bud fights emotional. I think he stays in the pocket, and I think his impatience is gonna be his downfall. If he loses to Spence, he's gonna get impatient. He's gonna stay in that pocket, and Spence is gonna catch him. I agree also with Tamika when she say that Spence puts you, and that goes to what you said too, Tom, about the placement, punch
Right,
placement. I
right,
think when she said that Spence has a way of moving you to where he wants you, so he can deliver what shots
right,
that he want, and that goes
right.
into play with you, what you said, Tom. So I
Yeah,
think all that play. Also, I think that on the other hand, I think that TC is quick enough and fast enough to counter Spence, and outpoint Spence. You know
right.
what I mean?
This fight is not going to be a fight where Errol Spence is walking through him.
Right.
This is gonna be a fight. But
Yeah,
I
it's
just
gonna be a
think Errol
fight.
Spence is gonna. I don't think Terrence Crawford is built like that to be able to
I,
withstand Errol Spence for 12 whole rounds. I just
I
don't.
think that Spence also needs Blu-ray. I think Spence has to concentrate on his stamina and his durable. I mean,
No,
he
if
got
he
a
go
little
get
tired.
Blu-ray, it might not be no take TKO. He might knock him out unconscious if he go get Blu-ray.
Yeah, if he got Blu-ray, I think
It might
that'll
be
help
real
him out a
bad
lot.
for him. It might be real
What
bad.
you think?
Yeah.
What you think, Kwame?
I mean, he definitely needs Blu-ray. That's without a
Yeah,
doubt. I mean,
yeah,
without a doubt, man. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing he definitely needs to do is make sure that because I haven't seen the same power from him since he has been working with him, and I think that'll be the deciding one of the biggest deciding factors in the fight.
It's more
yeah.
it's more explosive when he's with Blu-ray.
Yeah, a lot, a
Yeah,
lot, a lot
More
more
yeah.
explosive.
Yeah, and
More
Steven, to address you when you say Bud start out slow, bro, I agree with you. And Bud cannot start out slow. Bud is gonna have to draw his line in the sand, and
Yeah,
he gonna say he gotta give it back because the Spence get that momentum going and get to coming forward.
be like a tank.
It's a wrap. That's a wrap.
Steamroll.
Yeah,
Steam.
it's a wrap. Bud is gonna have to use them angles. Bud is gonna have to switch, and we're gonna have to see is he really a righty or really a southpaw? Because that's what it's gonna boil down to: is angles and Bud switching. If Bud can keep them angles and keep switching and keep Spence off him, it's a long night for Spence. If he fuck around and let Spence come forward and fight off that front foot, it's a wrap. Although Bud can fight off that back foot,
Yeah, you
Bud
can't.
can fight off that back foot. You
You
know,
can't. But you
and
know what?
and
You know what I think it's going to come down to, because I think their
this
skills
right
is
here,
not too far off. It's going to come
what
down to
Wilder
that.
ain't got.
Because stop it. It's going to come down to that, and it's going to come down to who
Attrition.
could take, who could take whose punishment.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's what I said. I said that's
yeah,
gonna be a big
Who's
part of it.
punishment?
Who could take the
Because
better
Bud got
shot?
the hurt. He got the hurt.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
who could take the best shots? You know,
But
Bud
those
has
body
too
shots,
much heart at times.
but those body shots accumulate.
I think Bud is able. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna go out on a limb, bro. I think Bud is able. He's gonna counter Spence so much that Spence is gonna have to change up and go to those body shots late in the fight. I'm gonna say around round 5, 4, 5.
who's
He's
gonna
not
have
gonna
to
be able
go
to
to the
get them.
body late?
Huh?
Who?
Yeah. He's
Who?
Spence is gonna have to go to the body to TC's body late because early I think TC is gonna show him too much lateral movement, and I think TC is gonna be able to counter him and catch him with those combinations.
I think it's the exact opposite. I think he has to go. I think the way Errol Spite fights, he's goes to the body. It's just big part of his game. So he's gonna have to slow Bud down. So he's gonna have to go to the body as often as possible because
Well,
Terrence Crawford's one of the best attributes Terrence Crawford has is his endurance. You know, he got a motor. He's never out of breath. He's never out of shape. So the only way that you could slow a person down like that is with
It's the
body
body.
work. So you can't have this guy up on points early and now you're going to the body late. It has to be a very similar situation to Kell Brook. Very similar situation where he's going to have some early success and then shit catches up to him by round 5 and 6. You
I
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
think
I
Draco
don't think
believes that Bud has enough power that he hits that hard that he'll be able to make Spence be honest. That's what you believe?
absolutely.
Okay. And if you believe that, that
Absolutely.
makes sense. But
Yeah,
if he
absolutely.
doesn't, if he
Oh, he
don't,
gonna get steamrolled. He
he
getting
gonna get
steamrolled.
walked right through.
Yeah, he getting steamrolled, son. Like it's gonna be an easy night. But if he able to play Matador with Spence,
Yeah,
it's gonna be a long night for Spence.
yeah.
And TC gonna win with points, off points.
Yeah, without a
But
doubt. Without a doubt.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think
man.
Spence got to knock him out. It's either Spence knocks him out or TC wins off points. I
But
Yeah.
think that's the only way.
people criminally underrate Spencer's boxing ability too, because he's been known to knock people out. Spence can actually box. He has a lot of boxing skill.
I seen him.
it-
I seen him with Mikey.
It's all technical. It's all
Yeah.
technical. That's why it goes
Yeah.
over people's heads, or it goes. I'll say it's underrated. It goes under the radar because it's what they really teach you when you first come into boxing. It's what they teach. Keep your hands up. Keep your elbows in tight. Keep everything concise and crisp. And he's like, he took the very fundamental basics and he just took them to the he was able to take that and move to the next level with just that. And we haven't seen it in a long time since who? Winky, right? You know what I'm saying? The last time we see somebody just dominate with just the bare minimum basics. So it's hard for
Yeah.
us to, but that really take a lot of discipline to fight that way. It takes a
It
lot of
does.
skill to fight that way. To say
It does.
I'm not gonna get fancy. I'm just gonna walk this guy down, get and take whatever he gives me. If you give me a body shot, I'm gonna take it. Or
Yeah,
a jab, I'm gonna take it. I'm not gonna do anything too fancy. That's a lot of discipline, a lot of skill to do that.
it does. It does. Stephen Pope, you my brother, but no way I think Spencer's gonna outpoint TC if it goes all 12. I don't think so. I don't think so.
It could. I mean, it could go that way. I think when you think about outpointing, you're just talking about pure, just boxing. But you know, part of beating somebody in a fight is having them hurt, having them slow
That
down.
too.
You know
Right.
what
That
I
too.
mean?
10-8 rounds, 10-8
Yeah,
rounds, all of that.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm equating all of that.
Person can
I,
make it
I,
to the end of make it to the end of the fight, and you know have a substantial amount of damage. I look again. I agree with Mika with the post accident. I think Blu-ray plays a big part in them fighting. He has to be able to put punishment on Bud early, where Bud respects what he's throwing at him, not just a situation where it's what happened with who was it, Porter. You know, because I'm not saying Porter didn't respect it. I think Spencer's a strong guy. Even Danny said he was stronger than Porter and Keith Thurman, and that's interesting to hear that because people say Keith Thurman hits harder, right? But
yeah.
Danny said he's stronger than him, which is
Hmm.
which is interesting. Meaning, in what way did he mean that he was stronger?
Right.
You know, so I think he has to be back into a person who can throw hard, meaningful shots that will have Bud second guessing and Bud wanted to have to fight off the back foot, which I think is going to be a huge part of it. And just can't be sloppy. Neither one of those guys can be sloppy. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to be happy the same way Mika said it. Even though I favor Spence, I will be happy to see two brothers getting that huge payday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because because
Yeah.
these big fights, a lot of
Yeah.
these big fights, you look, it's interesting. So many people hate on Floyd even when he fought Pacquiao, but like Floyd always said, Pacquiao taking his money back to his country and taking care of his
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
which there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's what you're
Right.
supposed to do. But it's just a great thing to see two brothers being able to make something that big between them
Exactly.
between themselves.
I
But
agree.
see, and a lot of people get my position wrong on this. It ain't for me. It ain't personal at all with Crawford. It's just his fan base is out of control. So I
They
go. So
just
I go that
extremely
route.
loyal.
Yeah, no, they're not
Yeah.
loyal. No, actually, no. We can't say loyal because a lot of the fan base is classless. Just like this guy talking about Spence drinking. It's like it goes past
Both of you guys
boxing.
got a point.
You feel what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
for some reason it go when it's a boxing conversation, it always somehow gets personal to who
Right.
one fighter is as an actual human being, which
Right. Right.
which makes no sense because I'm like both of these guys are excellent fighters. Both of these guys are at the top of their game.
Championship fighters.
Like Floyd made so many boxing fans spoiled because even though they love to hate him, he was the epitome of what a true fighter should be in and outside of the ring.
Right. Speaking of Floyd, I'm gonna ask you this, Kwame and Tom. Do you think we ever saw the best of Floyd Mayweather? Have you really saw Floyd Mayweather pushed?
I mean,
I asked this in the group before, but
I think how wild Maidana was that first fight. I think we saw some things that no other fighter would have been able to do against Maidana in that fight. If you boxed before it, the punches that Maidana was throwing in that fight were very awkward punches, man.
yeah,
Hard to make someone miss. And Floyd was not only was making them miss, but he was catching and shooting off the
but
rope.
you think that was the best of Floyd?
Now I think the sharpest he was against Arturo Gatti. I think, but Floyd was like Jordan, man. I think
Yeah.
Floyd
Yeah.
came. I think Floyd was a generation too good for his time.
Yeah.
So
I think
never know how good Floyd would have to fight against somebody like Sugar Ray Robinson for us to see how really good he was.
He was pushed against Castillo in the first fight, but he had a torn rotator cuff, so
Right.
that he
right.
had to.
So was he really pushed?
And,
Well,
Castillo wasn't really boxing. He was doing a lot of holding and hitting. He was doing a lot.
I would say,
I think
considering the
that
circumstances, yeah, he was pushed, and I feel like he
I
was pushed against Maidana too.
I
I know,
think
I know what
this.
you
We
saying. In
seen
his prime, did we see the best? That's what you saying.
yeah. I don't think
Yeah,
I don't think Maidana was his best because Maidana that was a bully fight right there. Skill
right.
wise, that was just a bully fight. I think Castillo was a tough fight. We didn't see the best Floyd because Floyd had to really batten down. We seen the heart of Floyd in that fight
Right.
against
Right.
Castillo. I think his best and sharpest fight was against Diego Corrales.
And that one too. That one too.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what I
At
think.
the same time, Diego.
those are his two big. I think those are his two best performances. And then
Yeah.
we can't also downplay him being hurt by Mosley and then going through the rest
Oh
of the fight
yeah.
the way that he
Oh
did.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he also
Even
had a
then
good.
though, he
He also
cruised
had
with Mosley. He
yeah.
cruised with Mosley after he got back and he hit Mosley and it took him a round or two to get the rest was just cruising. Mosley couldn't push him no more because
Right.
Floyd was so many levels above him.
Yeah, he
But
just
but
Yeah,
switched up his style.
Cotto pushed him.
yeah.
Cotto
Who?
pushed him. Cotto. Him and Cotto was
Yeah,
jumping.
yeah. I think Cotto did push him.
Him
He
and
even though
Cotto.
Floyd won't admit it, he'll say, "What's my man name? Was his hardest fight? What's the little clowning dude?
Emmanuel.
Yeah, Augustus.
If you watch that fight, they was stumping, but Floyd went in that two
Yeah,
fight. He ain't going at the bottom.
yeah.
Floyd was
I
flat.
think I was watching Floyd versus Chop Shop, and I said Chop
That was a
Shop
good
was
fight.
hitting Floyd.
That was a good fight.
Yeah, he caught him with a good
That was a
shot.
good fight.
Ooh. But
And
yeah, man.
one thing I noticed a lot of those fights, Floyd, he'll get a random hair up his ass when he say, "I'm sitting down tonight. I'm sitting down with every punch. I want to fight."
Yeah,
This. You know what I'm saying? And that fight with Chop
yeah,
Chop, you could tell he wasn't even trying to box. He was just in there thumping with Chop Chop. Like,
yeah. He
Floyd
was.
you know what I mean? He was just like,
He
"Oh, it's
was.
okay. All right, here come three back." You know what I'm saying?
He
So
was.
yeah,
He was. I
it's
think Floyd had beat Sugar Ray too, and I already explained that.
yeah.
Robinson.
Listen, like I said,
I feel the same way.
yeah, just let them all be great. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you just let them
yeah.
all be great. They all played their role. Like Floyd said, they paid away for him. Floyd. I think
I hate when Kwame do this.
I feel like Floyd is paving the way for these young guys now from such an interesting place.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I see it. That's Terry Crawford nephew. Let's see.
Yeah, man. So I feel that you right when you say that. Ali, Floyd, Sugar Ray Robinson, I get it. You can add more to the list. You can add Joe Louis. You can add a lot of people. But what I don't like is the consensus is the media consensus is that Sugar Ray Robinson is the greatest when majority of his career no one had ever even seen. So they're basically going off the word of other people to say this guy's greater than Floyd when we seen Floyd's career. There's no way you can just say that.
Right, because a lot of his fights weren't even televised.
Right, there's no footage. I think there's like an hour, 2 hour, like 2 hours of his career.
Yeah. I just watched they have I just watched it on HBO Max that showed like a biography of his career, which was very interesting. But he was very business savvy. He was a very
right.
fighter.
But you see what I'm saying? For people just to say, "Oh, Sugar Ray's the best," and there's no argument. I feel like that's more.
Hey, Tom. Yeah. Now Kwame is gonna tear your head off the bone. He gonna wake up and be like, "Okay, I'm about to throw some facts up at Tom," and he gonna start trolling you, and he gonna throw cigarette out.
Man. Nah. Listen, like I said, it's the same thing for Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe. You have your preference. Yeah. You can have your preference of who you feel is better, who you like more. But they all play their position, and you know what I'm saying. I don't feel like you have to put certain fighters against each other who have accomplished so much, in the sport, and they're done because they all serve different purposes for different times.
Right.
Like like I said, right now, Floyd, these guys owe Floyd the amount of money they making right now.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree.
Him and
Damn
Al
it.
exposed so much of the game that most fighters, come from from these urban areas, don't know the first thing. Like, look at Keith Thurman. I would have never known Keith Thurman didn't have a high school diploma or a GED until he admitted. A lot of these
Wow, I didn't know
fighters
that.
yeah, he admitted it.
Right.
A lot of these fighters go through life dedicating it. Look, Floyd, same way. Finished high school or
Yeah.
box. You
Right.
know, they're in the gym. They dedicate their life to it. People tell them they're going to be a world champion. They see it, and they stay like, why the fuck I'm gonna pay attention to this boring ass shit in school when I could be over here? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To me, the
Yeah.
whole purpose of going to school shit is to make money anyway.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
That's it.
One day.
You know,
One
so
That's
day.
it.
Yeah.
you look at these fighters and that's the route that they take, and everyone played a different role. During the times that Muhammad Ali was a champion, it was Jim Crow time and shit like that. They needed someone who was a world icon in order to inspire black people just to stand up and be human and to be treated
That's
like
true.
humans and
That's correct.
to stand up and be powerful and and to just know how to say no to something
Yeah, that's correct.
that
That's
wasn't
correct.
correct.
And they made him pay for it too.
Right. Yeah, and he paid. You know what I mean? And they made him pay for it big time. That's why they let him get beat up like that in the ring.
Yep.
It's vicious.
It's
That
vicious.
that poor man couldn't even walk and talk. In his elder
Okay.
years. And everyone wants to say a whole bunch, but you look at Floyd, and Floyd never took a shot at him, but they get mad. But what's Floyd supposed to say? I'm not better than him. He done made more money and got all his faculties.
Floyd supposed to
Ooh.
say exactly what he's saying.
Yeah.
He supposed to
Mhm.
because
he never
in the square
disrespected him.
circle, this is my opinion. And I didn't always have this opinion because Ali and Marvin Hagler used to be my favorite fighters until I started watching and really watching exactly what Floyd does. In the square circle, Floyd could say he's just as good or better than anyone who has ever fought.
Oh, that's without a doubt. From a skill perspective.
Skill wise, he
yeah.
could say
Uh-huh.
that. What
Yeah.
they try to do is they try to pair Ali's charismatic ways and his greatness outside the ring to Floyd's greatness in the ring. And that's not fair because those are two different things.
Right. And
Ali may have been a better person. He did do some questionable things. We're not going to get into that because he's gone. He's passed, so we ain't going to talk bad on him. He may have been a better person, maybe, depending on how you look at life. But in the square circle, Floyd, to me, was more skillful than him in the square circle.
yeah,
Not because Ali didn't know what to do. Ali refused to do the right thing sometimes.
right.
I
He
agree.
refused to fight with his hands up. He just didn't want to
That
fight that.
that's what made
Yeah,
that's what made him so uncanny in the ring and hard to
Uncanny.
figure out.
But,
Yeah.
but that was the thing. Same thing with him, and that's why I agree with Tom on the skills perspective. Is because you saw the same thing happen to Roy Jones Jr. that happened to Ali. Is that once they got older, once
Yep.
they weren't as quick,
Quick
Yep.
trip.
they started getting hit a whole lot more.
Yep.
Where Floyd, and I was so glad you made that analogy to Michael Jordan, because Floyd, I made that same analogy, and that's another analogy I made with Kobe Bryant. I put them all on the same level. When
Yep.
those physical attributes started to diminish, they had such great skills, such great fundamentals, and such a great mentality in the sport that they were able to alter their game and still reign superior over those who were younger,
Wow.
more
Exactly.
athletic.
Wow.
And it didn't just have to do with how much great fundamentals they had. That was a huge part of it, but it was also their mentality and how they approach the game.
You're right.
And
Because
when I
in New
look
York, we was calling Jordan jump shot Jordan because he started shooting that three and didn't miss.
right,
Yep.
he
He had to get better at it.
post
'Cause
up
that was his
game, it
weakness.
was a wrap. He went
Yeah.
from Air Jordan to just a straight. He was just a straight killer,
Yeah.
and that's why I always saluted Floyd, because Floyd effed his hands up, but his skill level was so superior and his belief in himself was so high that he was able to continue to dominate the sport. So I
I
don't have
agree.
to put one over the other. I think they all stand in their lanes for the right reasons, and especially for the right times, because time is everything. The timings that we had them were very important, and if we didn't, because a lot of us didn't see how Sugar Ray Robinson was. Sugar Ray, listen, Sugar, they could have they said Sugar Ray Robinson was so arrogant. Sugar Ray Robinson, when he found out that they were making more money off the TV deal for his fight than they reported, when he found out, he would not come out of the locker room, and they already announced his opponent until he got an additional 10 racks.
He did what he was supposed. That's what he was supposed to do.
You feel me?
Yeah,
He handled his business.
he was on this Hank Aaron shit.
Yeah, and then you look at Floyd. People said money this, money that. He done defeated so many odds that people want to see him broke after. I mean, it's bad. But
thing is, Kwame, that's how they've been conditioned. The people
correct.
have been conditioned to see black athletes have nothing when they're done, and this across all sports.
Facts.
In basketball, football, and boxing, especially boxing, they don't want you to have shit while you boxing, let alone have shit after you box, right?
And that's exactly why.
So they
Right.
don't like Floyd at
Right.
all.
And that goes across the board. Sports, life in general, the judicial system, all of it is designed to keep a black athlete or a black person or a person of color behind
Yeah.
whatever it is that the agenda is.
Yeah,
You know?
all I'll say is that's exactly why I don't have a problem with Spence not moving off his stance with whatever he feel he's worth in his split, because you know what, the same people who are saying, oh, he should just do 50-50 or he should just do this or that, if he were to lose all his money after boxing, those same people will be laughing at him.
Right.
and
Be
saying
like,
that
look,
he
he
went
broke. He broke
Yeah.
as hell.
That's why you can't listen to those people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Speaking of Spence, I just got a text from somebody on the Crawford side that says, be prepared for a big announcement soon.
okay, well,
Woo!
So we breaking it here. We got breaking news here on Loyal to the Game Boxing 2, directly from the horse's mouth.
we'll
like
be.
that.
I'm ready for the big announcement, but if I
Here
don't know.
your ass
I
go.
don't know. Yeah, I'm
We know
back
the
at it.
announcement
We
gonna
don't
be.
know. Right, we don't know what
It's gonna be
like
one or two fighters.
what's
Pacquiao
what's big.
or
Right,
Porter.
right. What's big? Listen, either way it goes, I'll be happy, because either fight would be a big fight or the biggest fight in his career. But on the flip side, if it's Manny Pacquiao, I mean, I'm happy for that payday, but I'm not excited for that, because I've said for years that Bud Crawford's going to knock Manny Pacquiao's head off. Manny has too many technical flaws to fight Crawford, and Crawford arms is too long. Manny Pacquiao doesn't do well with slick boxes, just like a Floyd Mayweather. I mean, look, Floyd made him look stupid.
He made it look bad.
Yeah.
He made him look
here's
bad.
the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. Floyd got a fair fight when he fought Manny.
Right.
Manny been off those power colors ever since he been fighting. He
Yeah.
ain't even had to take no USDA test.
Yeah.
So you already know he off those colors, boy.
Yeah,
colors.
motherfuckers is crazy.
about it.
Look at
Think
Tyrone
about it.
Spencer.
He had no explosion against Floyd. Very little. He was explosive as hell against Keith Thurman. And he was
Floyd
taking
be
all those
man.
shots.
Man, Floyd be man. Little big head motherfucker. Big head ass motherfucker. I'm eating sushi. I'm eating Manny. I was like, this nigga Floyd is crazy.
But they better do some drug testing, because I'm gonna tell you right now, because
His head is getting bigger.
Thurman said he felt like he was getting hit with cement when Manny was hitting him, and I think
And that's what Thurman did. Thurman said, I don't care what you do. You don't gotta take no test. And he got put on his ass.
And he took some big, and Manny took some big ass shots.
Those
Yeah,
shots,
he did.
that's why I knew he was on those power pellets.
Yeah, he took some
He
big
couldn't
shots.
even take Floyd shots. Floyd was backing him down in that fight. He couldn't even take Floyd
Right.
shots. But he
Right.
either keep Thurman shots.
Right. As soon as he went, think about this. As soon as he had his first fight in Asia against Matisse, he knocking people out, and he ain't knocked no one out in over 8 years.
That
I
lets
mean,
you know.
yeah. So
He back
well,
in Australia.
we shall see. We shall see, man.
We shall see.
Great. Hopefully, it is a big announcement. But let me tell you
Jesse
something,
ass.
Duck.
Right.
Let me tell you something. If he don't come out, whatever the announcement is, if he don't come out on the other side of that fight and say that he's ready to sit down at the table with Spence, his nickname is Ducktales.
Bro, I'm not even gonna lie. 'Cause
Who?
people, I'm not even gonna lie.
Crawford.
Because people think I hate Crawford. I don't. If Manny fuck around and not bud out, I'm gonna be sad, man. I'm gonna be mad as fuck. Because
I don't see that happening though. I just don't feel like. I mean, the power pellet part makes me nervous. Hopefully,
yeah,
they negotiate about power pellets. But if it's on an even playing field, I just don't think Manny Pacquiao is gonna be able to handle that. Yeah, he be getting
yeah.
hit with some clean shit, but Manny's herky jerky. He be in and out. We'll see. We just gonna have to see. But I have a feeling it's gonna be Porter. Word from what I heard, because I had a source too. From what I heard, Mikey Garcia had the Manny Pacquiao fight locked up, and basically they were offering him $6 million, and he wanted an additional $3 million. We're talking about Mikey Garcia, and that opened up the door to start negotiating again with Crawford. Because
Wow.
that's what it was. But I see Mikey's in the gym hitting the bag, and I don't see Mikey giving up that payday because who else? After he took that beating from Spence, like he ain't the same fighter. It's evident. We see it
They
because
not.
Mikey Garcia would have watched Jesse Vargas. They're not on the same level, and like he won the fight, but
Yeah.
he ain't look
Mikey
like the
got hit
same.
by that damn truck called Spence.
So the question is, right? So the question is now with Mikey is who else can he fight that's going to yield him that big of a payday?
Get
Which I
that
don't.
bag and leave.
Yeah, and who's his size? Because these other welterweights, he's not their size. He look weird now. His head is big as shit now, Mikey. He look weird. He don't look the same. He looked better at 140 pounds. He looked more like a boxer. Now he looks out of shape. Even though he's working
Yeah.
hard, he's in shape. It's like his body didn't carry the weight up right. There's no muscle tone. There's no. I'd be discouraged if I worked out with Snack and I looked like that at a weigh-in. The way he looked at Spence, that shit would fuck me up. I'd be like, you might need to go to the park with some brothers and hit the chin-up bar or something. You don't got no fucking guts
That's the
at
thing.
all.
All they do is work the bag, bro. Like they don't really do their real work like that. Not all of them.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put them all in a box, but they just work the bag. They work on their punching. You know what I'm saying? That's
Shout,
all they really
shout
do.
out shout out to the Mexicans, but they really their bodies
Don't
aren't
be right.
developed like ours. Yeah. Like you look at Ruiz and we think Ruiz is out of shape, and really he's in shape compared to they just got those bodies, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Those
Our
ilky-
genetics.
They eat a lot
Yeah.
of they eat a lot of carnitas, man. That's just what it is.
but
Shout out to the Mexicans.
but what that means is you gotta put extra more time in the gym.
Yeah.
That's what that means. Because if somebody goes to the
I
body
don't
and
know.
you do like that, you will be done. Look at
Tom,
Canelo.
I just
Canelo not
think
built like
I just think it's genetics,
Genetics,
man. You know,
genetics
our
too.
black people, man, we have genetics, man, and not to be, racial or anything. That's how we jump higher, run faster. I mean, all the above. We bet just better athletically than any. We're more athletically superior than any other
yeah,
race. Because of our build, because of our big thighs. We made for this, man. You know what I mean?
right.
And they just aren't. They just, I don't know. They just normal people. We've been genetically altered through centuries. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. That's what it is. I can get in the gym now, even when I want to tone up. I'm 6'1", 235,
Yeah, I gotta
and
lose weight and be real.
yeah, if I get in the gym now, just to tone up, I start gaining muscle mass because my
Yeah,
father was a baseball player, my uncle was an athlete, he was a boxer, um, professional boxer. So it's in my genetics too. So instead of me toning up like I try to do, I put on mass, and I don't want to look bulky. That look is played out.
But
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Tom Rush, you hear this dude capping on here talking about his father's a baseball player. Your father was a judge. His name is Matthias
Right,
Matthews, nigga.
right.
You're out here talking about
Uh,
my father was some type
uh,
of baseball player.
uh,
Your,
your father,
your father's name is Your Honor. What
your
is you
father had
talking
been for decades to talk crazy to black folks.
and we and we have to say, we have to admit, no, it is not Mike Tyson talking. That's the host. That's
about?
Yeah,
that's Kwame
That,
Brown.
yeah.
let me take this comment off. You see Drico right here. You see his dad right under there, Judge Mathis.
That's his
Look at these two talking about his father's some
Hey,
damn baseball player.
right,
you know
right.
what's funny? My
There's something
dad kind of
going
looked
on
like
right there.
Judge Mathis. So when you said that, I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
"Wait, man, my father looked like Judge Mathis, man. That's
You sound like
crazy, man."
the thing is, you sound like at least one thing you just look like
Whatever.
you sound like him too.
Uh, that's it. That's it, man. That's it, man.
I
Well,
was
how's the family and everything? Everybody, they say that what you call it got COVID.
Porter.
Yeah, Porter got COVID or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He'll be down 14
How
days.
is he? Cause don't he has asthma too, right?
I don't know.
He
I'm
said his only symptoms is that he can't taste nothing or smell nothing, but he feel
Oh
fine.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
I had that, man, and you know I had that. I caught that in November and beginning of December, man. And I'm
last year.
still, yes, I'm still suffering from. Sometimes I can't taste, sometimes I can't smell. It come and goes, man, and I be still fatigued all the time, man. Like out of nowhere, I just get tired, man. But hell,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
haven't lost the fatigue, but I lost everything else gone. I lost the fatigue.
yeah,
I'm still
yeah,
tired. And shit.
I don't know.
But I kind of put that on. I'm getting older too. I just turned 38, so it might because I'm
yeah,
getting old, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know
yeah.
what
It
I'm
hit
saying?
me harder because
Yeah.
I had asthma. That's why I was
Okay.
wondering, did he have asthma? But I
Yeah,
had asthma, man, and it really, it really affected me, man, like for at least 2 months. And you
yeah.
see,
That's
now I'm
wild. That's
still
wild.
having some of the after effects, from it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I heard that shit really fuck with your organs. Like, like it
yeah,
makes
yeah,
situations you have going on inside of
yeah,
you worse,
Worse. Yeah, yeah.
worse.
yeah,
And it
yeah,
so
yeah.
basically, yeah. So it'll be like, okay, if you have something going on, it'll just like exemplify it or
Yeah,
exacerbate it. You know
Yeah.
low
what I'm
key, a
saying?
lot of these people not really dying from COVID. They dying
They're
for
dying
other
from the
stupid,
yeah.
pre-existing things, but the COVID just like
Right.
Exactly.
accelerated
Bring
it.
it up. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So basically, what they're saying is that shit is really beating down your immune system.
yeah,
Yeah, it is.
Because
It
your
is.
immune system keeps everything intact once it starts to f up. So it's attacking
Yeah.
your immune system and allowing other things to get out of control. And then,
That's it.
not to talk too much on this subject, but I made a post today that my mother-in-law's friend took the vaccine and wound up in
I was gonna
ICU.
touch on that. Yeah, how
bro.
old she, man? Prayers
Yeah,
up for your mother-in-law, friend.
No, no, not my mother-in-law. It's her friend.
Oh, okay.
It's a
Well,
male.
prayers
So
up for her.
my mother-in-law ain't taking that shit at all. So
Yeah.
she like I ain't taking it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but that's crazy because same thing happened with Hank Aaron, and then uh my brother also his daughter had a friend who was 25, healthy
Mm.
young guy, 25. You know how it is when you're 25. I mean, you
Mm.
strong as shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Same thing. Took the vaccine, died in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
a
Bro.
lot of people don't really remember that because we weren't around back, in the early 1900s. But smallpox, kind of the same thing happened. A lot of people died from the actual vaccine because you put a foreign substance in your body, and I mean, you don't know, And for me,
Right.
I think I'm not telling anyone to do it or not to do it. I'm just saying I just have a problem with putting something in my body and knowing that I got to sit around for 2 weeks wondering if something's going to happen to me.
What if I'm gonna die?
Yeah, like that's just not worth it to me, especially
Yeah.
if I know that people catch the shit. Like, see, like right now, Sean Porter have it, but no one's thinking he's going to die. Everyone's like, give him a couple weeks and it will give him another test. He may not be able to taste. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather deal
Mm-hmm.
with that personally.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that fearful of it. I think I caught the flu once in my life. I never caught it again. So you got to keep your immune system up, watch what you eat, and just know that you know uh the human body is a pretty amazing vehicle, man. It's just we got a lot of shit out here that's breaking it down. Bad oxygen, pollutants, shit in your
That's
food.
that's the reason why we got to make sure our diet is on
Diet
point.
is great, and then also the other thing is, and I noticed this when I moved from Philly to where I'm at now, is got to be careful as well with staying in the house all the time too, and not getting sunlight.
Gotta get that. Yep,
Yeah.
that's
You got to get outside because I
Yeah.
noticed, like now I work from home, so it's like boom, you wake up, roll over, brush your teeth, you know, I'm in front of the computer, and then I'm off, and then I spend some time with my wife, and then I'm in here on a live stream now. Look, we going on 3 hours. You in the house all day. Luckily, I live across the street from a Whole Foods, so a lot of times I'll go to the grocery store, and I just go outside and walk, and you don't realize how great fresh air tastes until you actually go outside and take some of it in.
mm-hmm.
Right.
It's like you be inside
Right.
so much. You inside so much. You like, oh, okay, everything's great. And then you go outside, you like, it's almost like you just tasted
Yeah.
like some good food. You go outside like,
Yeah.
Right.
damn, this shit good. Like,
Yeah.
hold on, let me go take a walk. And the
Yeah.
sun hit you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Y'all see
I
how weird it look outside? Speaking of outside, just look and be like, it's something weird going on. It just look like some shit like
yeah.
ain't right, you know?
Now you know where that come from. You've been in that
Yeah.
house for so long.
So
You forget
long.
what
Yeah.
it
It
look
seems for
like.
it's crazy. It's yeah, it seemed like
You're like, yo, this
it's
smell ain't shot. It's shot. It's right.
yeah, it seemed like it's foreign. Another thing is
Right.
like, in the condo I'm in now, I'm on the 17th floor, and I notice there's a lot of natural sunlight
Hey,
where
did you see how you just flex for no reason in the condo?
oh I'm just saying, so I'm on the 17th floor in my building.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of natural sunlight, right? There's a lot of natural sunlight that I notice where
Well, hell, you're
I
on the 17th damn floor.
but
They
that's my
close to that
but that's
motherfucking
my point.
sun.
Yeah,
That's my
you
but
get that to the
that,
sun.
and that's what my
Right.
point is. It's like the sun makes me like, even my cats will just lay out in the sun. It's just like it's a normal thing
Right.
because that's how you get your vitamin D. That's what builds your immune system. That's why like Draco, your people from you from Panama, right?
Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic, my bad.
Yeah.
But you
Uh-huh.
see your people, right? You go back to the islands, they be growing to their old as shit. They be
Yeah.
healthy and they be old as shit because
Yeah.
they spent the majority of their life in the motherfucking sun. You know what I'm
Yeah. I
saying?
got an aunt that's 104 right now.
See,
She'll be 105 next month on the 13th.
I went,
May 13th.
That's a
yeah,
lot of fruit. That's a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, also a lot of water, also.
yeah, a lot of water,
Yep.
and then also the other thing that we don't get a lot of here in the States is they be in the ocean a lot in that seawater that be detoxing them.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I remember
Yep.
for my second anniversary, we went to Barbados. My mother's side is from Barbados. My father's side from Jamaica. We go to Jamaica. My wife
You
and I,
all
she's
mixed up.
Jamaican. Yeah, I'm all over the place. So
Yeah.
my wife's basically Jamaican. So we go to Jamaica all the time, but we went to Barbados and we saw so many people who were on the beach in their 90s that looked like they were in their 70s, walking
Yeah.
miles and miles, like walking up and down the
Yeah.
beach just to stay in shape. And you would never guess like this person's 94. But every day they're in the ocean water. They're walking around, they're eating real food.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we need to do. We got to stop depending on, synthetic health, because
Yeah.
it is what it is. But
That is. I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna say one more fact that they gave me pertaining to this. I get letters from the CDC all the time asking me, "Did your smell back? Is your taste back?" Like daily. I don't even give them no data. I
Right.
don't want them at my business like that.
Right.
But they told me in there my father he's got a kidney disease, and so it didn't affect him. He was walking around cool, and he gave it to me, from his job. He caught it from his job and gave it to me. So I'm in there laid up, sick as a dog on my deathbed. I got tubes running out under my armpit, in my lungs because I got the asthma. They trying to help me breathe. So he walking around just with a runny nose. So I said, "Hey," I said, "What? my dad, like 66 years old. What? How come he not affected? And you know what I'm saying? And they said, well, it's because he has a kidney disease. The disease fights off everything, even foreign viruses. It fights off medicine and foreign viruses. So they said that my dad wouldn't have no problem because of the kidney disease is fighting off whatever virus it was. But
See,
me, it attached itself because I had an ailment,
Right.
which was asthma, and it attached itself to my ailment. And then that's where I feel like that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
just shared that too. And they also said that any other cases, they would have sent me home because your body heals itself.
Yep.
facts, facts. That's what I tell a
Right.
lot of. That's what I tell a lot of people. Something that most people don't do because we're not. It's crazy. We have a lot of people who believe in spirituality in the Bible. I know we done took this subject somewhere
Right.
else, but it's always good to
Right.
talk about life,
Right.
though. You know what I'm saying?
Grown
Yeah.
ass.
Bring the
And
realness back.
yeah,
Right.
is that one thing? And I know this. I know this for a fact because I believe in things that I've experienced.
Me
The
You
too.
know,
realm.
that's how I am. Like, okay, I'll say this: I believe in God. I don't believe in religion, but I believe in things that I've experienced.
Right.
And I went through a stint where my blood pressure was super high. I had a bunch of shit going on, and I did a 21-day water fast. I did nothing but drink water, and I drank
I
coke.
remember that. Was that recent,
Yeah,
bro?
that was last year.
Oh
I
Yep.
yeah.
drank I
Okay.
drank nothing
Okay.
but I drank nothing but water and coconut water 5 days out of those 21 days. I lost
Mm-hmm.
35 pounds. Everything that I had going on normalized. They was trying to give me medication and shit. And I was like, I don't want no
Mm-hmm.
medication because that shit is a fucking hamster wheel.
Once
It's
you
like,
get on it, you ain't getting
yeah,
off.
you gonna tell me to take some shit and not tell me what the fuck I did to make myself like this. So I'm gonna keep doing
Mm-hmm.
this shit and fucking myself up, and then I'm gonna take some
Mhm.
shit that's gonna
Mm-hmm.
manipulate something and make me feel better about it. But I already know that the body heals itself. You just got to give it a chance. And
Mhm.
Right.
you still shoving shit down
Right.
your throat, and it's constantly breaking food. It don't have no time
Yeah.
to heal itself.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
and listen, I ain't no doctor, so I ain't telling. I'm not saying this is the way to do anything. I'm just saying what worked for me.
Right.
So
Right.
I just know that when I look in the Bible or any of these so-called spiritual people, Buddha, Krishna, Jesus, they all fasted. All of them.
Yeah.
All
Yep.
of but
Purify.
we can't skip a meal. Oh my God, am I gonna die? Am I gonna pass out? I'm living proof.
Right.
I didn't eat solid food for 21 days. You'd be just fine.
Yeah,
Especially
because
Oh
if you
yeah.
got body fat.
low key they teach you younger everything that wrong with they teach you everything that's really counterproductive to how our body really they tell you can't go no longer than 3 days without food, you're a kid and shit.
That's
They
a lot.
say they give you this food triangle that you're supposed to eat. Half that shit not even if you black, you're not even supposed to be eating a lot of that shit.
Dairy.
Like a lot of
Right.
that dairy, a lot
Yeah.
of that
Yep.
dairy not for us. It fuck us up, right? But they
Bad.
give us
Yeah.
all the shit that it don't really fare well with us. So you have to know your own
Right.
way. When I get sick, I already know off the bat. It ain't nothing but water. It ain't nothing but water for me, coconut water. Ain't nothing but sleep. I take my ass to bed when I'm sick, bro. That
Man.
rest,
Yeah.
right back on.
Yeah.
It's
You know what
Yeah.
everything. That
I mean?
rest, that
Protect
rest,
yourself, man. That
yeah.
COVID shit is real. Even
Yeah.
though I feel that it ain't it's man made, but it's real. Even though I
Yeah,
feel like they speeded it up 100 years genetically, but that
yeah,
shit is real.
Yeah.
yeah.
That
So
shit is real.
a lot of shit out here. A lot of shit out here that's real. So all you got to do is make sure that you focus on the things that are real and important in your life, like your loved ones, your family, your relationships with
Yeah.
people, most of all your relationship with yourself. That's why I don't be getting on social media arguing with a bunch of niggas I don't know. That
Yeah.
I ain't never gonna see.
Yeah.
I just had
About
some
rah rah shit, like I'll
yeah,
kill you.
yeah. I just had some dude got mad because I said something about Spence. Him saying Spence was a drunk, called me a lame. Like, nigga, I don't know you. How could you judge? How could you judge what type of person I am? I mean, I'm not trying to flex on anyone. I'm just saying, like, I got real shit going on in my life that I'm handling. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, I got real shit going on in my life where I know I shouldn't even be in the situation I'm in based on my past. You know,
Mhm.
Right.
so being lame, you know, you got to consider the source that's telling you shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we show love to each other. We got to make sure that we show love to ourselves, because if we don't show it to ourselves, we can't show it to nobody else. You know,
Mhm.
and then make sure, because with all of this shit, like look at Hagler, look at Hearns, look at this other person who took this. Not Hearns, Hank Aaron. Look at a lot of people that I know have gotten sick, who have died from COVID, or died from effects of it, or died from taking the vaccine, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Right.
There's real shit going on out here. This shit ain't guaranteed.
That's true.
It ain't. This shit ain't.
Yo, you,
You,
you speaking facts right there, man. And I think that comes with age and wisdom. That that
without a doubt.
some things are not worth the argument. Like and what did I realize? Boxing, and now football with the emergence of all these black quarterbacks. But boxing brings the worst out of people, man.
I've noticed that. I didn't
How
know.
many times I've been
Yeah.
called? I can't. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to get to the channel stop. How many times I've been called the N word, like the real
Oh,
ER,
yeah,
on
yeah,
the end, heavy.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
because I like Floyd, like God,
yeah. Well, it's
it brings the very worst out of people, man. Something
yeah.
about
I'm in the Lomachenko group, and if you say Floyd Mayweather in that Lomachenko group, man, I was dropping my jaws at some of the shit they called me. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I said, man, I would have got kicked off of Facebook, and my HTTP address would have been,
right.
For real,
bro. They
man.
would end on me. They was like, "Fuck you, you black bastard." I was like,
Think
I
about
Yeah,
couldn't
it's
that,
say
bro.
nothing.
crazy.
Think
If I
It's
about
say
that.
crazy.
donkey, I get kicked off Facebook for 30 days, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
That's because you don't rock too many snot boxes, and Facebook found out about you. You know what I'm saying? That's just
They
they
kicked
done
me off
heard
the
some
whole
stories,
platform.
man.
They kicked me
Yeah,
Yeah,
off
yeah,
the whole platform.
yeah.
yeah.
I've been in Facebook jail. You would think, based on all the stuff that's going on, how much traffic I'm getting in a day. I've only been in Facebook jail for 24 hours once. That's it.
Damn.
Right,
Once.
right,
And
right. But
that's because I use I call someone the C word, like the worst word you could call a female, but I called a dude that though.
right, he
That's
reported it.
why he come off the gate saying that. Like a
Right.
person got a clean record, you come off the gate and say that, bro. What you expect? They lock
You know,
your ass up so quick.
yeah. But you know what's crazy, in Barbados, that word is used a lot, like in our culture, how we say MFer. But
Yeah,
but amongst friends, though, it said in that
yeah,
way, they use that word. So
right,
like my own mother has called me that, but
Right.
yeah,
she wasn't calling me that the way that it's taken in this culture towards the female. It was
right.
just like, it's just like a joke kind of way. So, but it is what it is. So look, man, we going on 3 hours, man. It's 12:30. I ain't gotta wake
Oh
up
yeah, I'm
tomorrow
sick of
morning
you
though.
niggas.
Yeah.
I ain't gotta wake up tomorrow morning. I got a 2 o'clock massage waiting for me tomorrow morning, so I'm gonna be in bed till about
Oh,
12:30. You know
Yeah.
what
oh,
I'm saying? Yep, yes,
I,
sir.
must be lie.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm
So,
good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm actually on vacay right now. So yeah.
Oh, that's
salute
what's
to
up.
that.
That's what's
Shit,
up.
Yeah.
salute to that.
That's what's up. Well,
I'm
I'm gonna
not
get out
taking
of
a
here too,
vacation
fellas.
until
Look
All
at
right, bro.
Ohio
what's up,
just now
Marcus? I
coming
didn't even
in.
see you in there, man.
He
Yeah,
just
man,
not.
you
That's because
late.
he just came in.
You know why he late like that? Cause that motherfucker was out there making 1,000 memes. You know how he be making all them damn memes
Oh
about shit.
man.
His shit be
Yeah.
funny though. I ain't even gonna lie, man. His shit
Yeah,
be
yeah,
funny. His shit be
yeah. He'd
funny.
be funny. He'd
His
be
shit
Yeah.
be
funny.
funny. But listen, guys, we appreciate you guys. Those who hung out with us all night. Those who popped in for a little
Yeah,
while. Salute to Tom Ross. Listen, man, social media, man, it's a gift and a curse, man. I done gained
Yeah.
so many enemies, but I've gained so many friends on it too. And
absolutely.
I appreciate everyone that supports us and supports the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. No doubt, Will Murphy, we appreciate you, man. You a consistent one. You always in here, man. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Make sure you guys hit the like button. I promise that we're gonna be a lot more consistent. As you see, we've been that this week. My wife said, if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it. So that's what we're doing, man. So
Oh, she gave him the green light, y'all. Look out, world.
she gave me the green light a long time ago, but I was doing whatever it was. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, we love you too, Mika. Let me see.
Hey, Mika, we sure do.
Especially Draco.
I don't
Hey,
know.
Mika.
Draco,
I got bashful.
Yeah, Draco talking about I'm looking you in your eyes, and both of them motherfuckers got on thick ass glasses. I'm like, stop that shit. but it's all love, man. So we salute to the.
That's a better look with clarity.
Oh,
That's clarity right there. That's clarity.
I be feeling. You know what? I be feeling bad because my wife wear glasses and contacts. And one day she didn't have her glasses on, and she was like, "I was outside and I really couldn't see motherfuckers' faces." I was like, "God damn! Like for real? Like, that got to be some tough shit." I just be taking shit for granted. My eyes are straight, but you guys was making y'all little connection. But we love you guys, man. We appreciate you guys. And
Always.
and stay loyal to the game, and we out of here.
We out.